Extravagant. Chandeliers Part 2. You hanging with us or what, though? Yeah. Reminiscing on these memories, benediction while I am presently switching on all of my enemies, kill that they have my melodies. It's real rap around parentheses, chill back, switch these energies. Rems lap, learning chemistry, watch the imagery, a new path. Grown men defending family, boom back, we marching heavily. The canvas on some simile, like canvas late for Timothy. The candles lit, so when the lights quit, we shining definitely. Chills in every breath of me, I play your body's symphony. Check the cry, walk your destiny, twice the man I meant to be. Every bar a centerpiece, pick it off the lemon tree. Authentically involved with my identity, that's why you ate the fruit. Pro said I'm the truth, that's a doctor drop a sign, so you know the math compute. The magician laid my foundation, built me out the booth, raised the roof. Cathedral ceilings in my feelings, chandeliers after millions. Lyrical engineers, architect appealing. Amazed by the children, affected by the flow that I've been given. Selected by the polls, facts and opinions. Measure what you stole, unload, you forgiven. The shades drawn, stop banking on a wish. Escape the hustle that was carried on the fist.
Yeah. What's going? Yo.
Hello,
Kath, what's going on? You back?
No, I'm back.
That's so dope.
I am back. I'm filling in. I'm the female Jay Cruz. I'm just kidding. I can't even live up to that. So
can anyone be a Jay Cruz at all? I mean, is it possible to replace Jay Cruz?
Not at all.
Not at all. But
not at all.
I've heard, Kath, that there may be some Jay Cruz sightings tonight, so people don't fret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quo may be in the building.
Pop his head in a little bit. We'll see.
There's no way to stop that, man. You know, we talked about
He's so determined. He's like, you know what? How could he miss anything like this? I know him too well. You know him enough.
I do. See that man over there right there? See that man? He doesn't sleep. He looks like real perky and wide awake. That's because he doesn't actually like to sleep. He just likes to
I honestly don't think he does.
Nah, man, not at all. He's
on the go.
He's a beast. He's a beast. And that's what makes Quo.
And such a humble human being, like someone without sleep, and you're still happy.
Well, you know better than most, and I don't think it really have to be a devoted like listeners and followers to really know. So you've been up on the show. This would be the third time, and you've kind of co-hosted with us before, and you've done the segment. Are we gonna get the segment back? We're gonna get Wine and Dine back.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna try and do this like once a month.
Okay.
So obviously different circumstances today.
Yes. But
we'll probably come back because, March is St. Patty's Day, and, we could do like a St. Patty's Day. So we might come in,
Absolutely.
We'll get together and figure that out. But yeah, I'm just happy to be here again. I appreciate it.
on this special day, the happy Quo wedding day.
So
Jay
excited.
Quokane and Shen. Shout out to them. Big shout out to them. Shout out to everybody. Hope you're enjoying your week, but they are enjoying their day. This is literally the day Quo has tied the knot with Shen. And like I was saying, you know better than most. And I don't think only our real clever, perceptive followers would know your connection. Want to tell them about your connection? Because your connection is real. It's fam, right?
It's blood related, actually.
Yes.
We share the same blood. So Jarrett Jay Cruz is my cousin. Our mothers are siblings. So that is how we're related. And a funny thing about this too, they were supposed to get married last year during COVID. Obviously, that didn't happen. So many people that were trying to get married last year either did exactly what they did today and did the same thing, but obviously had to postpone it. Doesn't matter. It happened. It happened today. And also it's Jennifer's birthday today. I don't know if you know that.
That's crazy. I do. You said that. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's so funny. It was so
birthday,
cute. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I said this. We were, after they got married today, she said this was the best birthday I ever had. And I was like, this is so cute.
There it is.
Love it. I just love it. So, I mean, we were waiting for this day. The moment we met her, everyone loved her. Everyone.
It was,
instant family
it was fam
connection.
at first sight, right? That's dope,
It was awesome.
Absolutely. That's rare too, you know what I mean? And sometimes that doesn't, sometimes that's a first day thing and it can go away, but when it's the real deal, anybody can put on the first day smiles, you know what I'm saying? But when it's real like that, that's crazy.
And they're two peas in a pod. It's just so funny when they interact. I mean, we were on the show when probably a month ago or so.
Yeah.
If you just watch them, the way that they talk to each other, it's just comical. It's too funny. It was a match.
And not to mention, I mean, career choices too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You know, that's so wild, you know.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
And I believe, I don't want to steal, you know, the Quo thunder for when he inevitably, unfortunately, actually comes through. He's not. I say unfortunately, kidding, because of course we want him to come through, but you know, it's tough when you have that wedding day. It's like, I know if it was reversed, you know, my wife would be like, "You doing what on wedding day?" You know what I'm saying?
I know.
It was like, it's like, yo,
go celebrate.
Yeah.
But to him, this would be like everybody's involved. You know, everyone. He has to just show face. So I can only imagine. But I hope he is enjoying. I mean, I can only imagine how happy they are. I haven't been able to talk to them just here and there, but just.
And then also, I guess there's this element too. And I haven't really spoken to Jay about this yet, but like, I'm like, well, a little bit. I was like, Quo, I was like, how is it that like today he sent me like 12 different tracks like 2 hours after they were married. I'm not kidding. That's
so funny.
I don't know if I'm putting him on blast with Shen, but I'm like, yo, I was like, in my email, he's like, yo, you should check this beat. Yo, you should check this beat. Oh, and check this. I did these rhymes on this one like last year. I'm actually thinking we might want to use it. And I'm like, yo, dog, you are a pit bull.
That's how you know how happy he is.
Yeah.
He's still pushing music.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it was also, I mean, you hit on it when you said, you know, it was like with COVID earlier, they were already planning the wedding. So it's not like it's like, you know, fresh, like right out the box, like this is a brand new idea, you know? So yeah. I'm sure they're like, you know, they're going through the formalities and they're like, okay, we're done. And I know they want to do the, you know, something a little bigger when the COVID fully lets up, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Which is going to be awesome. Same thing. I mean, my sister's going through the same thing. She did a small little wedding with just us siblings, but they're waiting to do a big day. They got married September. But the original date was, I'm sorry. That was the original date, was in September, but it was so crazy. I felt bad for just her alone and everybody who was going through it. So, them, I know that they were going through stuff, and they decided early. I remember, you know, it was crazy. And it still is. I'm not saying it's not, but at least now, you know, you're able to go to town hall, or you're able to go and find a place to do it. My sister did it on the beach because they had access to it. Like just small things. And I think any way you're doing it, they just wanted to get married. And I think that's so awesome, no matter how you do it.
Yeah, no doubt. Big congratulations, yo. So this is our Happy Quo Wedding Day show. We talking a little bit more than we normally would on maybe a little relationship talk, maybe a little wedding talk, maybe, you know, it's spring basically. I mean, it's not officially spring, but it's spring.
Almost there.
You know what's crazy? I'm here in Alexandria now. You know, for those who don't know, that in Boston, I've moved. I'm in DC. I was supposed to be back in Boston today, and
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so shout out to Fee. Shout out to my man Fee from XCal. We've been around forever, and I'm hearing something's coming back on my. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's yours.
Is it mine?
Nah, I don't know. We're getting a little.
Could be my dog in the background.
No, I was hearing me. It could be Don Juan. I always blame Don Juan, right? Don Juan just looked up in the back. I was like, let me blame Don Juan now. It's never Don Juan. It's usually me. No, but we were recording a track. Well, actually, he went and recorded, laid that down today in Lowell. Shout out to Bob Nash, Wonka Sound. If you don't have a place to record, we've been recording with Bob Nash and Wonka Sound since 1997, when we recorded our first record somewhere up there, Butter Messenger. Wow. Bob is a beast, same studio, moved locations once or twice, but and shout out to Fee. We've been rhyming that long, and so we're doing a project, and then I was supposed to be shooting a video and all this other stuff. Took a couple of them, one with Jay for what we're doing, and then another for a different for a 50 MCs project going on in Boston. Shout out to DNA if he's listening. Crazy project they got. All this to say, if I would have been down there today, I was worried about the weather, right? And because I'm looking here, and I got 4 days in a row coming up of 70s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm looking like 77, but today it was like 43, 44.
It was chilly today.
It was not.
No, but I think it's supposed to start picking up by next week. So. Yeah.
Well, check this out. So I play a lot of hoop. You basketball fan?
Yes, I am, and I used to play when I was actually in high school.
Oh, so that's more than a fan. You play. Okay, cool.
I'm a player.
we got to talk about some of this NBA stuff too, going on later too, which you know, these all-star teams. But that aside, I referee basketball. I've reffed since probably a long time, like on and off. Hey, this Fee, and we got an outdoor basketball league here in Virginia, and it's on and popping. And so because I didn't go back, I was like, you know what? Actually, I can do the games. So because they
it already started.
Oh yeah, it started.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, like I said, next week is like 4 days in a row. Then in the 70s. But this particular weekend is gonna be like 47.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's still a little nipper out there for the kids, the little kiddos.
You know what's so crazy though is playing sports. I played a couple sports along with basketball, but playing in the cold is it's for me. I don't know why. I prefer it, but you know, standing outside in the cold, I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Playing, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Nah,
cold. I don't know what it is.
I'm total wimp. I played basketball a lot in the cold, you know, growing up and stuff, and hated every minute of it. I told Jay before, I used to like go out and shovel, and just to make it look like if there was like 3 inches of snow, I'd shovel around, of course, to make it like, no, it's not snowing. Like I'd get out early to make other kids in the neighborhood or whatever would be like, yo, the park's open, you know.
Speaking of Jay, he's not gonna care I say this. Any holiday, our family party that we had, you'd find Jared outside hooping, playing hoops, shooting hoops, no matter the weather. Every time.
He's always telling me about the tennis ball dunks, you know. And you know, Jay's not a huge guy, you know what I'm saying? So for Jay to be even getting up to that rim, I'm like, yo, okay, that's it. I'm putting Jay on blast, but it's his wedding. And
that's all right.
What I mean? And I see some people saying
it's like almost doing a toast for him.
Absolutely. This is
the pre toast.
This is my toast. This is my diet caffeine-free Coke. That was not an official sponsorship, by the way. That was just, I mean, it kind of always is, no matter what. But no, I mean, people are giving shout outs. I want to shout out my man, Fee. Fee, hope that recording came out good today. Shout out to Gary, giving a shout out to Jay and Shen. Dennis, Wonka Sound is definitely a force. And by the way, speaking of studios, always want to plug my man Robbie Rowland. Robbie Rowland from Echo. He's a monster. He's engineered most of my stuff. He did my homework single, the House of Lies thing that I'm wearing here. Engineered that. My last album, the College Project, which is how we started some of that up. Put them all to shame. So shout out to Robbie. Shout out to all the engineers doing their thing. I know it's been tough for a lot of people because it hasn't exactly kicked in full swing like a lot of the industries, and it's a little bit saved by people sending tracks back and forth, you know, virtually. It's not all for loss, but it's been tough on everybody, and it's good to see things starting to pick up just a little bit in the right direction. So keep the fingers crossed, and hopefully that kicks in. So yeah. So look, this NBA stuff. All right, I gotta show you this.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. So I posted the other day on my page, right? So this is that's the player pool, right? So for those of y'all not in the know, so the NBA now drafts. So you got LeBron drafting and you got KD drafting. It's an interesting development. I didn't actually get to watch it live, right? But the teams that got picked, I got like the first couple right. I did a little prediction on my page, and I'm like, you know what LeBron's going to have to do? If he picks first, he normally would have had to probably pick Anthony Davis, which is not a bad pick, but they're on the same team, right? So it probably wouldn't have been a good look if he didn't take Anthony Davis first. But Anthony Davis is out due to injury, so it frees up LeBron, of course, to take Giannis with no problem. He could take the Greek Freak. And that is what happened. And then this is what followed. I know that's kind of hard to see right there, but you got Team Durant, you got Team LeBron. So he's got Giannis, but then after Durant picked first, then he was able to get Steph Curry, which is a nice 1-2 combination. So you got LeBron, you got Giannis, and you got Steph. But I'm looking at these teams, and I'm like, you know what? This is actually, I don't know what you're feeling, but this is like pretty balanced. This to me, I don't know what people think out there, but to me, this looks like I'm feeling this way that they do it now instead of it being East-West.
Yeah,
you know
they mix it through.
Yeah, and so
it is a mix. It's looking at it, and to be honest, this is the first time I'm seeing it. So this is actually there's a mix between the two of them.
Yeah, I'm feeling
the matchup. It's a perfect matchup.
I would have felt it a lot more if Jason Tatum and could have been
could
have been on the same team with Jaylen Brown, but and do you know who's in the 3-point contest this year? Have you seen any of that stuff yet?
I don't. I know I have not.
So Jaylen Brown and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both in the 3-point contest.
Really?
So that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with neither of them. I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go with Steph. I gotta go with Steph.
Yeah. I think
Steph's in it. Yeah, Steph's in it.
Okay.
He's in it. I was hoping Seth Curry could have been in it with him, but yeah, Steph's in it. I gotta go with Steph.
That's good.
That's what I'm doing. So anyways, I have not been in the full flow. We've been in music mode, and I'm actually surprised. You know, I'm congratulatory surprised that Quo has not come through yet. This is a wonderful thing. I love it. He's maybe enjoying a little bit of the wedding. For Hazy Music, shout out. They were up here before playing their music. Dope. So I am gonna play a joint that we actually played last week. It's the closest thing I have to acknowledging the wedding. So we got this track that is like, really, it's like the least done track that we have on our album. And it's, when I say least done, I mean it's pretty done, right? So it's called Apologize. I don't know if you heard this yet.
I have not.
All right, so we played a little bit of it last week, and it's anything but finalized, but the gist of it is it's the closest thing to a song appropriate for the wedding. So I'm going to give that some run in a second here. Big shout out to Jay Cruz. We always do this on our show. If it's the first time y'all watching, we sort of play the behind the scenes. We talk about the industry. We try to talk about things through our career that have helped us, that help other MCs. We try to have people up here for our 5 minutes of flames, where we just, get an MC, interview them for 5 minutes, play one of their joints. Everything's kind of off the table tonight because of Jay not being in. So we're just mostly happy that we got some people in the back who we're going to be bringing in too, talking about some of the music too. We got a cool squad of people that are here tonight. My man Miguel is in the back. We're going to bring him up. His man Dennis. They're doing like some crazy positive, what we're doing right now. They got going together. A bunch of guys got together and have been putting together their combined forces. They do something called the Sunday Dinner. They got going on this weekend. Myself and Jay will actually be guests on their show, so it's real cool that they're stopping by. But this song,
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, and the music's dope too. Dennis goes by the preacher. His stuff's dope. He sings, he raps, he plays a little bit of keys. Crazy. I was watching some of the videos today, and I checked him out before, and I was checking out his stuff, and I was like, wow, okay, this dude is like the complete package. So excited that he's in here. I saw some of the other videos too from the team, and I was just like, okay, they're the real deal. So it's always good whenever you can find people that got it all together. So what we do with the industry stuff, though, is we try to show you behind the scenes. We're not worried about people saying, oh, it's not polished, why you're not showing it. It's okay. It's good enough. Our rule is like if it's 85% or better, we'll let you see it and get sort of the sneak peeks. And we're not worried about, the millions of views that won't accumulate because someone saw it early. We ain't doing it for that. We're doing it for a little bigger purpose. So anyways, we're going to run that song. It's probably, like I said, it's probably the least done song, but this one is definitely for Jay and Shen. We'll see if we can get this one popping. Yeah, here we go. This is called Apologize. If you haven't heard it, now you have. Peace.
Dad, when are you coming, Daddy? Daddy, where are you?
Yeah, I miss your company, baby. You know I died for you. 20 feet apart, hardly paying any mind to you. It's so real, trying to balance all my time for you. Woke me off the couch, I fell asleep writing these rhymes to you. Yeah, your trust factor's so big. Eating dinner with the kid, saying daddy on the grind for you. Putting him to bed while I'm working off my head out late. Old faith, Shen, I never lied to you. Till we dead, the legacy survived through you. Can't wait to walk your big out with you. Yeah, she say she hated when I talk a lot, but love how that pearl compass sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You my whole world queen, home is my Camelot. Yo, Remy vying for attention, Ryan looking forward to this road to excellence. Depressing when you all about your crew. I write a testament, investing in the things I never knew.
I know it's hip-hop probably stole a lot of time. All these rhymes on robbery. Sorry, I had it big like the lottery. Giving it my whole heart and soul, every part of me. Apologies. I know this hip-hop honestly stole a lot of time. All these rhymes on robberies. Apologies. Got me switching up the policies, giving us that quality time. I finally promise. Listen carefully. I remember times you were there for me, trying to make it better, but I never wanted therapy. In all sincerity, I always been there for you, but I was raised no emotion, playing careful. Rarely gambled, afraid of being hurt by any woman, so I always played the tough guy. Since high school, hip-hop and I cool. Prince poetry, pro busy writing haikus. Before the girlfriends, lips on a mic grill. Pretty Young Things to me is a song by Michael. Sure I liked you, and I love my family. Relationships fail, few understanding me. Hard for me, and I know it was hard for you. Still in love with the culture and the art form, but not more than my family and my life now. My wife and my son, that's my heart. Put this mic in my promises. I know it's hip-hop probably stole a lot of time. All these rhymes on robbery. Sorry, I had it big like the lottery. Giving it my whole heart and soul, every part of me. Apologies. I know this hip hop, honestly. Stole a lot of time on these rhymes on robberies. Apologies. Got me switching up the policies. Giving us that quality time, I finally promise it.
Yeah.
Love
There
it.
they are.
Love it.
What's good?
You got, I mean, we just knew. Congratulations, first of all. My jacket. Love it.
Yo, this is the COVID tux, yo.
The COVID times. Yeah, man. What's good?
Show the fingers, guys.
Congrats.
Love it. And first of all, your nails are on point. Love it.
Right?
Love it.
Let's camera.
Point is the right word, right? Yeah.
Coconut.
You like that little? I don't even know what kind it is. It's an onyx, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds right.
It's pretty though.
Anywho.
So
Love
first
it.
off, Kat,
Obsidian.
thank you so much for stepping in for me. I appreciate you so much, Cuzzo. I love you very much.
Anything for you.
Face? Can you
Thank
get me in this?
I'm trying to figure out.
He's used to being in the center. You know what I'm saying?
Put my code.
You gotta start sharing now, man.
Thank you.
It's
Gotta
over.
start sharing now.
I'm
And my
over here
man-
trying to think like this.
Yeah.
Like hello?
Yeah. And big up to my man Pro, man. I love you, brother. I appreciate it.
Love you too, man. Congrats, man. You did it big, man. You did it big.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Had a great day. Best birthday
Don Juan,
album.
appreciate you.
Happy
I seen all the
birthday,
comments.
too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I always tell
that's
the fellas if she didn't run away at the altar, you did something right. So you know what I mean?
That's
So she did it, you did it
I
right.
was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Bro, it was the paperwork. The paperwork took
Paperwork.
45 minutes to an hour.
Paperwork.
Jeez.
Ridiculous.
After
Yeah,
or
man.
before? I don't know how it works.
Before.
I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
getting married is
it's
like.
We,
But
we got there at like 12:30ish.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get to see the justice of the peace till
Like almost 1:30. I was like,
1:30,
girl, can you
1:45,
type a
yeah.
little faster?
I want to marry my husband.
I'm like, child, let's go. I ain't got all day. I gotta pick up my baby.
You got stuff to do. It's just another day, right? It's just
I'm
another day.
like, hello.
That's crazy.
Get with it.
Yeah, man.
So
this-
exciting.
This is like something that, I mean, clearly you remember your wedding day forever, but I mean, in this era, this is crazy. I mean, you know what I mean?
know.
You'll always remember this process.
Oh yeah.
And,
The Roans.
yeah, I mean, this
Damn
is
Rona.
this is something. Obviously, you'd be able to tell, you know, kids, the fam, grandkids, all that kind of stuff. But this one is just like for the ages, right? This is a
For
whole.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we said our vows with our mask on, which is crazy.
Mm.
That
Man.
mass situation.
And happy birthday, Shen. I mean, you got multiple reasons for this. This is
Yeah.
so incredible.
And now you have this to look back on.
He can't ever
Day.
forget this day.
That was
Yeah.
why I did it.
He forgets
Yeah.
this day. he gonna
That's
get
why I
it.
did
And
it.
you can't skimp
All
on the gifts too, man. You got to come with the
Nah,
birthday
no.
gift,
Man, I
the
don't know.
anniversary gift, the
Can't be
post-COVID
sleeping on
we
them
made it
gifts.
through gift, everything,
Yeah.
man.
It's like my stepmother. My stepmother's birthday the day after Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she's, you know, she understands. But with Shen, she'll get double. You know,
I better.
we'll double up.
Yeah.
I am not cheap.
We had some
Okay.
beautiful meal. We went to the Tuscan Kitchen, the most official, unofficial gnocchi sponsor.
Oh, I saw those pictures, man. I saw those pictures you were sending.
Bro.
Man. In fact, I might have to show the people, man. I'm gonna have
You're gonna
to
have
pull
to
that up. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to pull
that
that up.
Food is banging. Food is
It-
banging.
Shen, did you get the same thing?
Hell no.
Let's
Got
let's see
Sorry.
if
Got
we
me a little roast chicken with some mash and some
Love mash.
arancinis. Child, anything fried, I'll eat it.
Yeah, calamari. We had a Yo, the calamari's real
There we go.
good. Oh, there we go.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
So say I missed it.
And I was like, damn, that was fast.
Okay. I shut the sound off
That was-
for y'all, but that's looking proper.
There we
Okay.
Where we?
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
I don't
whoa.
see it.
We don't see nothing,
go.
bro.
The kids behaved.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Oh, Remy.
Yes, a lot of wine.
Look at that
Nice.
T-bone, man.
That's
Oh,
looking
wow.
real good right there. That is the unofficial official sponsor. I don't know who that is. What did you say that was? What place was that?
Tuscan Kitchen.
Yeah, Tuscan.
Oh, Tuscan Kitchen. Oh, yeah.
I've been
okay.
there once. It's really good food. Really
Yeah,
good.
So good.
Yeah,
I messed
absolutely.
up though. I should have got something different. I got the same thing I got the last time I was there.
Hey, they do you right.
I
man.
do that
Somebody
every
switch.
time. I'm not gonna lie. Once something's good at a restaurant, it's hard
Yeah, you
not
kinda
to
gotta
not
stick
get
with
it
it.
again.
Yeah.
You
For
try,
real.
but you're like, well, I'm gonna go with what I like.
Yeah.
But I know it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
It was good. It was good. Good times.
We ended up we did a little tiny photo shoot. You know, We didn't do much in the attire that we wore there, which your dress, the thing she picked was beautiful. It was a white.
That was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, you saw that, right?
Child,
Yeah.
Loved it.
Amazon.
Yo,
Really?
Girl, Amazon is the bomb.
Yeah. And Amazon is everything.
I don't
Literally,
like delivering
everything.
it, but I like receiving it.
Next day. Yeah.
It was great. Great day. Great day.
That is awesome.
Bro, I see your mouth moving. I think your mic
Your
muted,
mic's
bro.
off.
Yeah, I did. I was clicking too much here. I was replying
said,
to people.
This
Sorry
is pro
about
right
that.
now. He's like,
Yeah, it was very unpro. Yo, where is that? There's one in Burlington. Which one y'all hit?
There's
Salem,
one close
New
to us.
Hampshire.
Salem? Yeah, those are dope, man. Those are real dope.
Actually, I think that's the one I've gone to before.
Really?
Which one?
Oh
Yeah. For
I think there's one
Corinne.
in, like, the
I think that was
South
the
Shore,
first.
North
That
Shore.
was the first one though.
I've been.
Yeah, that was the first one. That
Yo,
was the original.
they own stuff too. They got so they got their restaurant, and then they have like their own like shopping center.
They have a whole block that they're building.
Yeah.
It's called the
We're gonna have to hit
Tuscan
them up.
Village.
Yeah, bro,
Okay?
they taking over.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
nuts.
Tuscan Kitchen, holla at us. You know what I mean?
We promoting you.
I'll eat some pasta for you.
Hey,
You know, they got a
man.
lot of
Hey,
good
you know how we
Exactly
do.
right.
Tuscan Kitchen, the unofficial official sponsorship of the Pro and Quo Show, especially the Quo Show today. This should just be called the Quo Show. You know what I mean? This is-
But if it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't be happening.
Hey, man. Yo, congrats,
Yo,
man. I'm
thank
thrilled that you came through and said what's up, and I appreciate y'all coming in. I don't know if y'all dipping back in later, you staying for a while, whatever you
He'll
want to
dip
do,
back
man.
in. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna be
might.
dipping in my
You
bag.
might catch me. We're gonna go.
All right, cool.
We're gonna
What-
go dip out for a little bit, but you guys have a great time. I'll probably be checking in, and if not, whatever, we'll talk. But I love you guys again. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Have a great night, and we'll be seeing y'all.
All right, cool.
All right, peace out.
Happy birthday to Big.
Man,
Yes, happy birthday.
that's dope.
Okay.
They came through.
Bye.
You're
Peace
bigger
out.
people than me. Everything my way.
We all
I was
the
like,
same.
no, I'm sorry. I'm busy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace
Take
out,
care.
y'all.
Yo, that's hot. Right on
That was
cue.
awesome.
It
I
was
know.
like they were watching. Of course, they probably were watching.
Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
let's now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, we got speaking of guests that we're glad to have, we got some guests in the back. So we got some folks who gonna come on through. I don't really want to say too much because they got a show. They got a couple shows. They got a whole mess of stuff going on. So there's a lot going on. I think I'm gonna bring in Miguel and then bring in Dennis in a second. Miguel, I believe his show is a Sunday dinner, I believe, and their whole outfit. They got this whole thing. The acronym is POSE. We'll talk about that in a second, what that stands for. But we know it's power of self-education. But we're gonna bring them in. We're gonna talk about what they're doing. He's a real good dude. We go back Lowell ties as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring in Miguel, and we're gonna talk to him about his company, what he's got going on. Then I'm gonna bring in my man Dennis right after him, just because I gotta hit these buttons separately. All right. What up, Miguel?
Hello.
What's going on, y'all? Hello.
Yo, let me get that unofficial sponsorship out of your way. I mean, you can be an unofficial sponsor too. We do. That's how we get down. You know, we try to bring the sponsorships to manifestation just out of what we would like, even though we don't have them yet. And that's how we pitch, you know. So I will put on the record that I hit up Cheez-Its, actually literally yesterday for the first time. I hit up Cheez-Its because we've been really doing Cheez-Its big up in here, man. But what's going on with you, Miguel? What's the word?
Man, you already know, bro. We're just trying to get ourselves busy and going and continuing to push the work as far as helping the community, you know what I mean, uplift itself and so forth. So you know how that go. We
Absolutely.
The last time we talked, I was working for UTech.
That's right. Shout out to UTech.
Yeah, U Center over in Lowell, and also they have expanded to the Lawrence and Haverhill area. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Since then, I had worked for a rape crisis center after that, and then decided to do my own thing. So my wife and I decided to launch Quinones Culture Consultants, and
Word.
what we do is basically provide trainings around curriculum design, working with youth. You name it, we basically do it. We're putting together different kind of events, from self-care to educational events, to talk about Black History Month, and we recently had done a Black and Latinx fraternity and sorority. CAS, just to talk about, what it's like to be part of these organizations and what they represent and the history behind them for Black History Month. So, yeah, there's a lot of different projects that we've been involved with. We're also going to be doing Pound the Mic at Coco Brown in Haverhill in April for Poetry Slam, which is going to be a new thing that we're launching.
When's that?
With Pose. So so that will be in April.
That's coming right up.
Local poets, and we're trying to basically build a community. You know, so basically our main niche is to create a strong cultures, right? So we have worked with different organizations and in schools. My wife has been a Boston public school teacher for over 15 years. I worked in Boston and other cities, nationally, really, for many years. And, we've always been able to create really good, strong culture where staff members, stay on board, young people show up, and so forth.
That's real dope, man.
That's awesome.
That's hot. Yo, I'm gonna bring in Dennis too. Is that cool? Cool. Can you get Dennis up in there as well? All right, cool.
That's my bro right there.
You guys got to explain to us how this all comes together and how this works. Yo, can you slide maybe your mic down a bit? You were sounding real crispy before. I don't know if it was because of one. Yeah, there you go. Try that.
1 2 1 2.
A little better. It's still a little foggy, but it's okay. When we get 1 million people up, it's probably more than that. But I'm gonna bring in Dennis too. We got here from the Preacher. What up, Preacher Rhymes? We gotta unmute him here. Let's go. How about that? That ain't better?
That's me. My fault.
No doubt. Oops. Now you're back. You're good now.
Do I sound like Miguel? Miguel, your mic sounds horrible.
Miguel has a little. I was being real nice. I was like, it's a little, it's not as crispy as it could be. It sounds like you in a tunnel underground. Yeah, but you're all good. He muted himself. He's like, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, Miguel's the greatest. It's been an honor, not only getting to know Miguel, but like his wife, and when we get time, because they're so busy, we're so busy that all the time we get together is super dope. And then I heard you say you was in Alexandria, right?
Yes.
I was out in Dumfries.
Oh, really? Yeah. What's funny is my wife is from Stafford, and so her dad used to work up in D.C. all the time, and I would see dumb fries all the time. I'd be like, "What's up?" I'm sure everybody says that. I was like, "What's up with these dumb fries?" And they're like, "Nah, it's Dumfries." I'm like, "It says dumb fries,"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, it also looks like Worcester too." So I was like, "Yeah, you got a point there." You know what I'm saying? Miguel, how many people you heard screw that up, right?
I know, man, all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. How long were you out here, Dennis? Were you out here for a minute or?
Yeah, so I went there to get my wife. My wife
went to get her. Cool.
Yeah, I had to go get her. She lived over here and then she moved out there, and then I had to go. She was kind of navigating. She was leaving hers, I was leaving mine, but she was like, "I'm in Chocolate City. I'm about to go ham out here," and I was like, "Well, before you do that, let me jump out here and throw my card in the mix." So I had to go.
Absolutely, you do what you got to do.
That's it. But I'll tell you one thing that I liked about down there is that so many people have government contracts. And I know it's, there's hood areas out there.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
There was such a level of respect. Like when we would go out that didn't exist. Like Mass is cold,
it's different.
man.
It's different. It's way different. I was trying to explain it to people. It's a totally different thing, However, like if you know DC, you know what I'm saying? Like DC's for real. But but like you said, all the surrounding areas and stuff, it's different. Like where we are, it's and by the way, I don't know if y'all know Don Juan the Mac. He's our producer behind the scenes. He's one of the founders of Hip Hop Citizen Network that we're broadcasting over. He's from out here, so he went to school with my wife at her high school. So Don Juan's back there. He's fiddling around with the stuff though. Maybe he'll jump in and say what's up too. He's got Virginia Connects. Obviously that's his place, but he's down in Texas these days. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like just trying to explain the difference. You know what I mean in the culture out here. I've only been out here for a quick minute. It's actually 3 years now. But between back and forth, you see it, and the industry is different. When you look at the music industry, how it works. Just even on a local level, not even talking industry, but the way people either connect with each other or help each other out, or the way that they don't. And you're always going to compare it to home base, And being from Lowell and the Boston and Cambridge scenes, it's a different beast. You know what I mean? It's a different beast. Absolutely.
Well, why don't we got happy hour up here? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right.
Down there, you're like. It's 5? Happy. This is what we're doing at 5?
I know. and that's a shock when you come back, because I was like, really? Yeah. Happy hour? Like, is that legal? Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, we have happy hour.
I think we're the only place that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you don't have it. That's what I'm saying.
No.
But down in like Virginia, DC, the whole DMV, yeah, it's like on and popping. You know, it's like up, like you said, it's 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Tip it back. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Do y'all have seatbelts? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, smoking in the club still. All right, cool. That was the worst back in the day. I'm not a smoker. I've never been into any, all my entire like friends and family. Yes, but go into like a club and you come out and it's like ashtray central. I don't miss those days. Those are gone, yo. I'm like, you can have that. You know what I mean?
I don't like nowadays they think because they're vaping that it's not disrespectful to blow that in your face. It's like,
Right.
man, I understand it's not tobacco, but
get
it's still, get it on my face.
I am right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
I tell you though, it was hard to transition though, because I used to smoke a lot, and when I used to go to clubs like Club Karma down in Lansdowne Street.
Club Karma, yeah.
I used to just, but now you had to go outside and all that. I was like,
yeah.
It kind of contributed to me quit smoking.
Yes. So, I want to ask you guys this while we got you before we talk a little bit more about your show. But so give me and this also it's for you, Kath. Have you heard, or am I out of touch with this? So clubs are back and operational in Massachusetts now. Is that right? Like it's some kind of level, like live music or something?
Live music, I believe, is up and running.
That's crazy. All right.
What phase 3? So they opened up. I think I could be totally wrong here.
No, I think you're right.
Theaters, live music. I know live music is one of them.
Wow.
I don't know what concerts and things like that. I don't know who's got lined up quickly. I have no idea. But yeah, I think most of it's already opening up, a lot of it.
Green light. Wow. Okay. Cool. Did y'all hear about that?
So I haven't. I've like this whole COVID thing is really like I look back, I should have had a sanitizer bottle like maybe like a 10 years ago. Like there's a lot of just walking in the club like
right.
So it shifted my mindset on everything. But for me, like the club scene, I pivoted. So what I started doing was I started changing my music and I started tapping into the school budget.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I'm using music as a level of engagement, and then I get into diversity, inclusion, and do circles. But I don't need the club no more because the one thing that I didn't like about the club is an artist that's like geared towards that intimacy. You're writing to a point. People show up at the club; they're there for the booty and the liquor.
That's it, man.
So
they
it's like
listen to anything you say.
Yeah.
And it's like this in the microphone. You can't hear anything. You know what I'm saying? Can't hear everything. You go there as a lyricist, right? And you're a lyricist. I heard your stuff, man. You're definitely a dope lyricist, man. You hear someone who's got something to say. I want to hear him. I'm the nerd in the club who's like, yo, what did he say? You know what I mean? Like I'm like, shh. I want to hear him. And I'm like, yo, turn the bass down. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always been like that. Been like, yo, let me hear what Cats are saying. Unfortunately, that's not what really people are going to the club for, And we wear a different hat when you promoted for a long time too, and then you tell an artist the opposite. Look, I'll give you 10 minutes. You can go up there in the mix while the DJ's spinning, and you have to not lose the crowd, which means don't be playing your underground unmastered beat that you're gonna get up there on. It's gonna drop like 3 decibels and everybody's gonna you better be able to rock over something. I want you to say your rhymes, do your thing, you know what I mean, come off, but you have to come off in a way that's not gonna lose the people dancing. And if you can do that, you can make a little change. And I was speaking of Lansdowne Street, I was doing that on Lansdowne Street, and that was tricky because not many people were doing that. Everybody's used to underground clubs, like I said, Smoke Central, whatever. And it's hard because, again, for MCs, most people aren't going. Even in the big underground hip-hop clubs, like, people always talk about the Mideast and Cambridge. Most of the time, people aren't hearing what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Unless they have your album. They don't know what you're saying. So it's still...
The Mideast, like the Middle East people, the Middle East was just a payday. Because of the size of the venue, you could get enough people where you were actually making some money. All of the other venues, in my experience, when I was doing the venue stuff, if you're promoting it, you're like, you take the bar, I got the door.
Yep.
But so many people didn't want to pay that door charge. And then I used to have trouble, I learned real quick the difference between showmanship and studio recording, right? So like when I would go into venues and I'd be like, all right, when I get on, I want you to shut all the lights off and then put the spotlight on me and let the smoke come in. And I'm going to pay these 3 girls to come up with bottles and start passing them out.
Yeah.
Like, so as you're creating these elements of showmanship,
right?
That stuff plays more effect, like you're saying, than the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of that, and like really, that's why I navigated out, because I was like, you know what am I really doing here?
Yeah, what are you accomplishing exactly? You know, and we've all been through that. I try to, you know, I was talking to Miguel a little bit about this too. We were like, you know, trying to let hip younger cats know that there's nothing corny about taking it to schools and colleges, because it's funny how everyone wants to talk about their hustle and their grind, yet they won't hustle and grind to actually make where the payday is. Like, you know, if I got 500 in a club, I was thanking my lucky stars, because that was rare. You know what I mean? Typically, someone's trying to, if you got some stature and you got some records and some credibility, whatever, people don't even want to embarrass you. They usually won't even ask you unless they maybe had like 300, you know what I'm saying? Like to come through. Or somebody that really has no self-respect would just ask you to come through all the time and not even pay you gas money or whatever, and not even care, and just be like, yo, can you come open to my show? And you know, you progress past those days, you get into that small, maybe that $300 to $500 realm, you can times 10 if you're on that same level in the colleges overnight. It's overnight, it's times 10, and that's without a lot of stress if you know the ropes of the game, and if you have something to promote. Meaning, what are you talking about? Is there some purpose to what you're saying? Because it isn't about how dope you are when you're performing a lot of times at the colleges, because a lot of times, to be honest, the colleges have no idea. You know what I'm saying? The people who are booking you, if they're in student activities or whatever, yeah, they have some student influencers or whatever who are maybe, you know, responsible for listening to what, you know, what actually the students want to hear. But at the end of the day, they got to feel like they can vouch for this artist. They're going to loosen up a budget. They got to make sure it's not too wild, and that maybe it does have a diversity message and it ties into diversity, or it ties into one of the student groups like Nesby or something like that. Whatever the group is. And then you can tap into that $3,000 to $5,000 budget. Yet I see a handful of people, from Massachusetts who consistently do that. And that handful of people usually changes. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's not a lot of fame in it. You know, like I can go do 5 college shows and you don't even know I did a show. So if you're not cool with that, I get it, you know, but if you're happy with the check and making an impact, then it might be for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate people don't explore that.
I appreciate this dialogue too, because you don't get to speak in this lane, but not everyone can make that jump either. Like, you got to be talented to be able to lyrically, you know, make content that is still where the youth is still engaged, and but still, like, you know, Harvard, these different places ain't gonna let you in. Yeah, if your message is just completely derogatory, if it's way off,
yeah, unless you're huge. If you're huge,
yeah,
so
huge, you do whatever.
And that's where people get twisted. Like, I mean, you know, we could sit here and go around, and we could ask each of y'all to name your top 5. Kath, who's like in your top 3 artists? If you get to see a rap show right now, who would you want to see? Who would be? Oh, I got you.
Sorry, my dog is no. That's
I heard your dog.
I told you, when anybody comes near she goes wild. So I
that's to protect the dog. We talked about that.
She's only 6 months old, but that's fine.
But y'all, give me 3 artists. All of y'all, think about 3 artists while she's thinking. Give me like 3 artists you pay to see at a college. We go any order. Miguel, who you got?
You know, I gotta put my man Nas up in there.
All right, I got you.
Yeah. Then Rakim probably is gonna be right behind him.
Okay.
And then this might be tough, but I gotta say Jadakiss.
Perfect. All right. So, all right, let's keep it going. I got my 3. You might have taken one of them there.
I don't know so I'm not genre specific. Like you say, I do so much. Like, I think
singing too, man.
Well, I just like, you know what I like? I like great music. So I love and I love behind the scenes. So I love like Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And as far as hip hop, I look at like there's too many. It's hip hop's hard because I love.
What would get you out the house though? Like if someone was playing, like let's say the Mideast, right? Someone's down at the Mideast right now. Who's gonna get you to go down there?
Nobody.
No. Oh wow.
Nobody.
I mean, non-COVID times.
So no, even when non-COVID. So we haven't gotten to my history. I did 8 years for armed assault with intent to murder.
I heard you.
I have a real crazy past.
Yeah.
And I have to self-monitor, like my just people.
Right.
I can't be around bullies. I can't be around certain people because they trigger me in a certain way.
Got you.
So I go to shows and like I pay VIP to be away from the heathens.
To get away, yeah. Yeah.
Because I get
that line.
Because I was one. But what I would say is So that's why I'm genre specific. I mean, I would go to see a show. Like I really go. I seen Lauryn Hill at the Wang. Was the last show I went to.
Yeah.
When
that was the last show I saw too.
I saw it at Avalon when it was still Avalon. Yo,
my goodness,
Yeah,
Avalon.
man.
I
Avalon.
haven't heard about that in a long time.
And you know what? I think it was Amy Winehouse. Someone might want to correct me if I was wrong on that. I think it was Amy Winehouse and Lauryn Hill. I think what crazy.
That's incredible. What a show. I wish I was there for that
I
one.
might be wrong on that. But I'm like, was Amy Winehouse the week before? But it was Amy Winehouse definitely. And I think it was Lauryn Hill. And Lauren was essentially opening, as I remember it, which was crazy. Because it was sort of after the peak. But yeah, all right. Yo, dope call. Who you got, Kath? Who? Because I'm going to put this back into context when we get this little list going.
So you said 3 people?
Yeah, about 3 people, yeah.
I'd have to say, well, in college, speaking of college, before J. Cole was even anything, he came twice to UMass Boston, and it was a phenomenal show. I went twice, and it was awesome. So I'd see him again in a heartbeat. I've seen him other times. I'd have to say Childish Gambino. I love him.
Ooh, okay.
I think he's amazing.
Yep.
And third one, off the top of my head, I'd have to say Kendrick Lamar.
Wow. Okay. So so Kath went with the most expensive artist out of them. Right? Like everybody that Kath, right? Would you all agree? Like those artists she just named, if they were coming to your local, let's just say college, someone like a Kendrick Lamar is in the $100,000 plus price tag. $100,000 plus to play at your college. So what he's doing is he's taking the college budget, that student activities fee, probably, right? And only certain colleges can afford that because they have to have enough students paying at the rate that they're paying right into their when they're signing up and paying tuition. They have a line item that says student activities. And this is what students don't understand and how you freak it. This is how you pimp college. You join a club. You have the influence. You run for office in the club, which is very easy to run for office in club. It's not like running for like a high school president or something. It's like people are just kind of sitting there doing nothing a lot of times in a lot of the clubs, especially if it's a middle-sized school. You sway the budget, right? Meaning that you're one of the offices. You work with a faculty advisor, someone like myself, right? And you want to, like, I have a club. My club has a budget, right? We have sole discretion of what we do with that. We have one person we have to report it to, who's like a student activities person. But if we want to spend all $5,000 on Dennis, I can have Dennis come to my college. And you telling me, now this is, again, we're talking about like people trying to play the hustles and stuff, right? Everyone talks about they're a hustler. How many people do you know have actually taken their hustle to being the person in the club who's booking their friends to come in through student activities and handing their friends 5Gs? You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff, and that's not illegal. That's very legal because people don't do that, right? But that's at a small school. If you're at a bigger school and you got a couple people or a couple people in your crew, if you got a crew that's a hip hop crew, you could go in and run a club, run the entire budget, ask who you want to perform, and you could at least open up for that show, and you could get your peoples paid. But what I'm saying is, outside of that, you can direct the budget for the people you want. We're talking crazy money. So a Nas, right? A Nas would probably be in the 70 to 100K range. Lauryn Hill might be down closer to, maybe 50 these days, which is a travesty because in my opinion, she's one of the greatest artists of all time, hands down. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But people don't get this, right? So I'll jokingly call myself a scrub like me. I'll say a scrub like me. I can get 5Gs to play in your college. You know what I'm saying? I can't get 5Gs in any club in the country. There's no club who's paying me $5,000 to come because clubs don't pay money like that unless you're superstars. It's all about who you're going to bring in. Unless I brought in an alcohol sponsor with me and that kind of stuff is done, right? But you can get that on the regular if you're competitive, you're good, and you have a message to actually speak about. But if you're competing against Nas and you're competing against Kendrick or J. Cole, you are not going to be able to do it. And when I say you, I just mean any local group of people, no matter how dope you are. Unless you're like incredibly dope and you got a team of 1 million people who have been pushing you, you already know who you are. You're already at that level. But if you're thinking that's the path you're going to follow, you're following the wrong path. You're not going to be J. Cole in the colleges. You're not going to be Kendrick Lamar. You're not even going to be, who's probably the lowest of the ladder there. Miguel, you said outside of Nas, you said
Jada.
Yeah, Jada. Yep.
And
Legend.
And Rakim.
Yeah, and those cats are probably looking in the 30 range. You know what I'm saying? Like $30,000. They go pick that up maybe on a good. I don't know their finances, but I do know the kind of artists that they're in. Right? They're legendary status. but they're not super popping right now to the younger generation, right? But a school administrator will want them to come because they know who they are. You know, school administrators are like our age and up. You know what I'm saying? That they know who those people are. It's crazy.
Yeah, and to me, like the reason why I used to love to go to Club Karma was because of the speakers. You know what I mean? The sound quality that you would get in certain clubs. Not every club was the same. There was something about Club Karma that I don't know. I have my days. Put it that way.
No, absolutely. But they can't afford that to bring. They don't have the budget to bring those artists. So it has to be like a college. You know what I'm saying? Who else has that kind of money? You know.
Unless it's based on when I was doing promotion, it's based on capacity. Yes. So depending on the size of the venue, you could ask Jada to come to a club, and then depending on the capacity, he'll come to a club for 10, like around 8 to 10.
Right.
You know, because you're only going to make so much. That's why we were talking about the Middle East. The Middle East is one of the only venues that a local guy can get that fits, 200, 300 people. Yeah.
It actually can. It technically can get 600.
600.
Yeah, it's on the high fives. But like you said, even if you get 200 for some of these venues, you can actually potentially make your money depending on what you got for local support and so forth. But that's like a crammed lane. You know, it's like trying to go in the. I'm going to be the dude to break into the MIDI. Like I promoted the MIDIs for years, and being, I was the only person they called. They would just default to my phone number. They'd be like, "Yo, call Lyrical," and I wasn't even trying to be a promoter. It was just like I lived next door. I was promoting a bunch of shows. This was like pre-Leeds, and then Leeds came in, and Leeds really like ran that, and still does. And it was like there was like a couple promoters. That was the whole game in the whole city, right? And now that stuff is kind of on lock, it's like unless you go find your own venue or whatever. You're barking at the wrong door, man. And it's like people don't even look at colleges. It's like it's not even on their radar. And I guess it's because it looks so hard and difficult to do. But, I'm partly in college at this point in my life only because of figuring it out, having to play, so much when I was younger and figuring out how it works. But it's not a difficult thing. Like I would just get on the email and just look up all the people on the college like anybody else would and just look, hey, who runs student activities? And I would just email them, just bother them, instead of spending 4 hours doing nothing. I get on the computer and be like, okay, student activities. I'm going to send them my little bio. I'm going to send them. But you got to have someone in your crew who can write a bio, right? You got to have someone who can take pictures, and that stuff takes time and money. And that's why people always say, yo, I need a manager or whatever. But, yo, what you really need is you need a nerd in your college who can actually write, you know what I'm saying? And, make it look hot. That's why, I'll spend hours on my stuff to make it look legit because that's my hustle that I'm going at. This is my stuff. I'm going to show this so people understand. This is what I do. And this is what you need to do. But you need to find someone who can write at this level and will actually take the time to go through it. Let me go back in this one because this is actually for school stuff. But so I keep everything on what's called a wakelet. And MCs, you should do this too. It's just kind of like, Linktree, but it's like I put in more important stuff. So in here, you got to wait for it to load up. But any article that's been written about me or any bio that I have, like that's the one I sent to you earlier today, Miguel, right? Like that's it, right? But you got to have somebody who can write that. Like I didn't have a manager write that. I wrote that myself, but if you have somebody who can write that yourself, cool. You know what I'm saying? It looks professional. When somebody gets that, they're going to go, damn, they must be legit. Nah, it's just that I'm the nerd in the group who can write that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like to think we're legit too, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's that. Okay, keep all your stuff neat and organized. Save it forever so that when someone says, oh, what have you done? Just like a job interview or whatever, that you got it in a place. And it's just amazing how this part of the hustle game is usually not down pat. It's usually people are focusing on the stuff that really never brings them money. And a lot of times people are being told, yo, you got to have your stream game up. Yo, everyone in the world is trying to have their stream game up. You know how long it's going to take you to make $5,000? You know what I'm saying? Streaming is going to take you forever. But with the right video or two or the right article or two, this is how you can get yourself in. But you got to grab that nerd who can write. Find somebody in media arts maybe, or somebody who can put together the bio that you need to get yourself booked, because this is the stuff that looks presentable. Like you were saying, this is like, you want smoke up on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dennis, you trying to play it like, this is the same stuff, but you're doing it on the professional bio tip or whatever. And you just want to have more game than the next person does. And that's what's going to get you the show. It doesn't matter how super famous you are. If you're trying to get $5,000, $5,000 ain't famous money. $5,000 is you got a little name and you're doing a little bit of stuff. That's $5,000 is throwaway money for a lot of these colleges, and yet nobody's in the lane. Nobody's exploiting. I don't mean nobody, but I don't see a lot of the people. I'll go to one of these like college conventions, right? Like NACA is a company that runs it. NACA is huge. You spend about a G, you can get yourself in NACA, and it's literally like, Kath, let's say that you work for a school, and let's say that Dennis and Miguel work for another school, and I'm the artist. I'm just posing and posturing, trying to get you guys to come by and notice me. And you all work at a school. And it's like a dating service. And I'm like, hey, Kath, look what I got going on. Don't go check out him. Come check out what I got over. I'm a professor who raps. Come take my business card. You know what I'm saying? I can come speak to your school, and I'll spit the dopest freestyle you ever heard in your life. Yeah, you got to be doing that. It's like, that's what you do. And I'm like, yo, Dennis, I see you got preacher in your name. Yo, my stuff's all clean. I don't curse on my entire album. You know what I mean? So it's that game. And but there's nobody from Boston at those. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen anybody from Boston at one of those. I see people from all over the country, and maybe they're out there doing it, but it's just I've not seen it, you know? And it's like, why is that? What do we got to do to get our people popping in this particular vein? You know what I mean? And imagine if the young people in, like, you know, I think of a place in like UTEC. Think of all the talent that's been through there, Miguel, or you know, places like that. I've been there. You know, it's cats rhyming and trying to do their thing, but it's like, okay, let me really show you a hustle, you know?
I think some of our young people are allergic to school, man. So whenever they look at colleges or performing, you know what I mean, and even in programs, it's hard to pull people to come to them. You know what I mean? Because I say that jokingly, but I do believe like I remember like as soon as I was graduating, I was like, I don't want anything to do with any school building. You know? I couldn't wait to graduate and get the heck out.
Yeah.
Little did I know I was going to spend my next like 20 years in Boston public schools working with young people.
Well, there's probably some truth to that. You're probably right on that.
Yeah, people think hip hop's a fast track, and they don't actually understand the business of it. You know, I think that's a big issue, and even like I got to connect with you, Lyrical, because like when I'm talking schools, I'm doing local district, so and I'm not even doing shows. What I'm doing is I'm doing videos. So I'm going in with kids and I'm extracting through restorative justice circles.
Yep,
I'm holding circles and kind of surfacing what are the issues of this school that you guys see, and then I play my records and kind of allow them to pick a record, and then we go through the visual creative process of you know, when you first do a video, people have all these crazy ideas, and it's like, listen, you can just do a look that tells a story. Yeah. So we go through that process with these kids, and then I have the school district, the superintendent, cut the check so I can implore people like Surefire Studios. Brady's a good guy.
Yeah, Brady.
You know, local guys to cut the check, because that's the other thing. The thing I didn't like about shows and the nature of everyone was chasing this like sell ticket model, and let's bring in this big artist and all get on the undercard. Like it was really it was exploiting everyone locally to generate capital for someone that's outside of the economic situation.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't get behind that, especially when you're seeing the arguments and the fights and the divisiveness that's coming through everyone trying to be in the limelight.
Yep.
And I had to get out of that. And another thing that was hard for me is like when I got out of jail, right, my mind was like kind of like 50, like I lived this. So let me spit and talk about this. And then when I would get on stage, like, you know, there's other guys that are crafty artists, but they haven't really lived that lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was a difficult space for me to navigate.
Yep.
Because like you end up competing with these guys.
Yep.
And they're throwing little shade and digs. And they don't realize they're dealing with, like, I never wanted to be a gangster. I was traumatized.
Right.
Like, I grabbed guns and shot people because I lost my mind from not feeling safe. So I just refused to. I'm like, I'm getting into this hip hop to save my life, but it's pushing me back into. So I had to be like, you know what, I'm out of it.
It's like the opposite of what you got in it for.
Preacher Rhymes isn't like it's not a. Like, I used to be Green Monster.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. That's dope.
So Green Monster was such, like, I was ridiculous. Like, I was literally walking in the clubs. I got into an issue with this crew called Up North Entertainment. And I knew all of these guys very well, and they knew I was crazy. So I would get in conflicts and call them out in public, and then walk into their clubs by myself.
Wow.
Which, to kids and everyone, they're like, "Oh, that's crazy." But now looking back, like I got 7 kids now in a house.
Yeah.
Like I got a mortgage.
Yeah.
Like I risked my life. I wouldn't be here as a father based on the stupidity that I was caught up in. So I look back at that and I changed my name to Preacher Rhymes, meaning preach your rhymes. If you lived it, speak about it. So it's not like anything you hear from my music. I'm going to talk about love. I'm going to talk about the streets, but I'm not going to talk about it in a way that is misleading.
Right.
Because even though I was spitting, like I thought as Green Monster, I was kicking the truth. But all the kids were hearing, like, they were like, yeah, get your life together. Give me the gun. Like, all they heard was the lines where I was going into that other lane. So it took me years to extract all of the violence, but keep the intensity.
Right.
Like with my songs now, we just released, I came out and I released we've been on the launch pad for like 6 weeks in a row. Chubb's been showing love.
I saw. Yeah,
well,
Miguel sent me some good stuff, man. I saw he had that in the clips, man. Speaking of having your stuff organized and sending it to other people, man. I saw you had what was it on the dash right there, like 945 or whatever. I saw it was scrolling on something that you had. Well, I was like, that's smart.
This is confirmation. Like, really, I didn't want to have you on the show this Sunday, right? And I want to tell you why. Nothing to do with you, because you guys are already this format. I've created what we're doing as an MVP for people that don't know. Well, you know what MVP. So it's just a small test market, and we're just testing it, and then we're gonna upgrade to a different stream service and building the content before we put marketing and put it out.
Yeah.
So we've just been catching our vibe, and that's the thing of having great friends. They're like, let's go out and get these great, hosts already. So
smart, yeah.
Well, I look forward to having you, but like we're at a stage where it's 3 of us coming together right now.
Yep.
And we're getting ready to traject in kind of. But my
Break
issue has been with the format's important to me. Yep. I'm like, why did we run over your thing is 5 minutes? Let's keep these segments. Let's keep the show moving.
Yeah. We need to be on that. Cap knows that too. We're like, we might do a segment today, right? We gonna do wine and dine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Cap's got a whole segment. We were like, I was like, were you guys coming last week? I wasn't sure. I asked Jay 5 minutes before the show. Like, we need to be better on that too. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? It might look pretty, but we got to be doing what you're doing too, because that's important.
Well, and I seen the evolution of your show too, man. I every single week I see the differences and the changes that you're making to it. So it's just dope, and it's just I love being around dope people. So when Preacher was telling me about doing the webcast and what we were going to be doing, it was just like word. That's what I love to do, anyways, right? It's to collaborate and work with people that are doing great things in the community. Because at the end of the day, real recognize real, right? So when you see people doing something that has value and adds value to the community, like why not just combine and move forward, and maybe those experiences continue to make you better at what you're trying to do or what you're accomplishing. I learned a lot today just listening to y'all too.
No doubt. It's funny
because I'm still like my stuff is still on the paper.
right. No, it's all good, man. It's all. So explain to us the difference between the shows. So Sunday dinner is yours, right, Miguel? That's what you run.
No. Sunday dinner is the idea that Preacher Ryan's pitched to myself and Ted Lazarus.
See, I gotta get it straight. All right, cool.
Yeah. So Dennis works. He's the co-founder of Pose, which is Power of Self-Education. They also run their own spot, which is called Coco Brown. And provide a lot of services, including, helping out people like myself and my wife launch our own organizations and just be creative with what we're trying to do and have more vision to that.
You guys are consulting? Is that educational consulting or what kind of consulting?
So we're an educational consulting business that is working. That's one of the co-hosts, or I don't know, like not co-hosts because there's 3 of us, right? That's part of the Sunday dinner.
Okay.
So can I jump in? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Power Self-Education, our nonprofit, I think, we're just done with exploitation. And it's not even a color thing. Like Miguel has worked under different organizations and he's been the lifeblood. But we all know that navigate kind of the professional background, right? The papers and the masters and all of that stuff has created like ceilings for people that are just excellent people. Yep. So the thing that I think me and my wife does have her master's in education from Merrimack. She actually went to UMass Boston to get her bachelor's, and I'm an experiential guy. So I got out and I got into human services and went from a part-time worker in NFI, which is kind of a human service DYS type of deal, and I went all the way to assistant program director. And then I had twins, and I was like, got to get this money. I went and joined the union. Yeah. So I did a 4-year apprenticeship, got up to $100,000 with the union, came back. I mean, we had founded Power Self-Education, our nonprofit, but now I had money to fund it. Right. And at the same time, it's funny, I would take it, being in the union pushed my salary with the school district up, because now, I'm making $500 a day. So I'm not going to leave my job daily to come teach the kids. Although I love them, you got to meet kind of what I would make sense. Yeah. So it helped me to push that up, and then we got more and more work. But the point I want to make is it's not really about me. It's about innovating new systems that incorporate, like when Miguel does his brand, or when he does his segment, that's sponsored by Quinones Culture Consulting. When Teddy does his segment, that's sponsored by Lazarus Radio. When I do mine, it's Power Self-Education. And the hope is that we come together like Voltron, and that people that form more interest in Miguel, they can branch off and go to his private stuff and go to my private stuff. And so that's kind of the idea. But we got to step it up with the images and with I told him, I was like, I've been looking at 3 different streaming services. When the people post on Facebook, we can see it on the thing. So
yeah, no doubt. I mean, they all have their pluses and minuses. They all have little things they do. You know what I mean? But a lot of it is, I think sometimes you can. It's some of the music industry. Like you can have. I mean, you think about like Wu-Tang, right? It's not like the quality was incredible, right? In fact, the lower quality of some of the music might have been the appeal, right? And it's like the consistency, though, is, like that consistency is such a huge thing. And no matter what you're doing, I mean, for us, the consistency is the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're coming on at 9 on Friday. You know we're going to be there, right? We might go to 10:30. We got a show after us that comes on at 11. We might run up to 11. But, we run, 9 to 10:30. And really for us, and this is another thing for MCs out there, too, you notice the name of our show is the same as our duo, so we call ourselves ProQuo as a duo. It's the ProQuo Show. It's a vehicle that we want to promote. Everyone is doing something like we're doing, or somebody who's benefiting the world. You know what I'm saying? And we're starting with people we know first, who we usually have up. And by the way, I want to flash a couple of the ones we have coming up these next couple of weeks. But most of the people are connected to us personally, especially as we're starting out. We have a lot of requests to have people on that we don't necessarily know, but pretty much everybody that we've had on is somebody that we know. So, for instance, this right here, this is coming up next week. This is Mazi Mutafa. He's somebody that you guys should know too. Maybe he's watching. He's somebody that would be great to connect with. He runs Words, Beats, and Life, which is a community-based organization out here in D.C. They book most of the stuff at the Kennedy Center. He's tied into the school, well, not the schools, but community centers, indirectly the schools, the different organizations in the city that are doing positive work. And as you may know, the Kennedy Center, they have a big, speaking of Nas is part of that. They have a big connection to the community. So he is a dope person who's doing amazing things. I was interviewed on his show. I played at the Kennedy Center when I moved out here. So I'm like, I got to get this dude on here. And he's so chill, he's a body of information. We got the homie Lino coming through soon, later in March from the Floor Lord. Shout out to Lino. He's living in Hawaii these days, but living that life. But that's Lino, Boston legend. So of course we're gonna have Lino on because I know Lino. I'm more close to home. I work with Dr. Sherry Ward. Dr. Sherry Ward is a rapper. She's also a director of an educational. It's a high school. There's a high school out here. It's Archbishop Carroll. First of all, she's a professor at the university that I'm at part-time, which is an adjunct professor, and she's the full-time director of their arts and media program they have. So she's working with the young artists and so forth, like I do at my university. And she actually put me. I was in the Howard. One of the TED Talks I did was at Howard. She's the executive director of that. So we try to put on people that have insight, but that we know from our real lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's another cool thing, I think, is that you check in. People like yourselves will be up here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I didn't know Miguel, like obviously I wouldn't have been able to do that right now. Especially when you're starting out. So. Yeah. That's all we're doing, and that we need a lot more detail. Speaking of people, somebody coming in the green room, we've had other faculty that I know up at the university. I see one in the background. I think she's able to come through. That's so dope. We got P.S. Perkins in the building. What's up, P.S. Perkins?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Good. I hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Hear you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to see these wonderful faces smiling back at me.
Yeah, you're virtually smiling at them, but that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I knew you told me ahead of time. You were like, if I come through, it's gonna be on the virtual icon tip.
I have to be honest. I have my bedclothes on, man. I'm ready.
Hey, but
and you still came on.
Yeah, absolutely. And
go ahead.
Did you see that Jay Cruz was in the building earlier?
I didn't. I was actually just came on, but I wanted to make sure that I just said happy wedding day. I mean,
yeah, really. He's going to be so pumped. He is a huge fan of you. So much so that he was like, we got to get P.S. Perkins on the album. You know what I'm saying? And for people, Fly is in the background. So Fly just hopped on too. For those of y'all who don't know Fly, he's a super dope rapper. If y'all have seen our show, he's from an organization called Freedom Corner. And Fly stands for Forever Lives Yahweh. He's a dope MC. He's on the album as well. But our album is pretty much a collection, again, reflective of people that we know personally. It isn't about, I was saying this before too. It's like we all know people in the industry, and we can all, kind of go out and pitch to, sort of like the big name people. We really wanted to have like organic people that are important in our lives in this process where Jay has put together an album. It's really all Jay's doing. Putting together an album based off of this instant brotherhood sort of theme of like just sort of this connectivity, the interconnectivity. And we wanted to make sure as well too that, someone that organically came into the fold that represented what we were doing and same message would able to be on the album as well. And we're glad to have you on there too, P.S.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. I was grooving to some of the beats and, especially I'm not that old, but at my age, when I feel that beat, it's still working. And so I just want to give a shout out to the work. I was just so incredibly impressed with with the lyrics, with the rap, with the beat. It was just awesome. And I'm looking forward to it coming out. I'm looking forward to spreading the word. I think it's extremely intergenerational, which is something that we need now because the word is the word, and wherever that word is coming from, that's speaking health, wealth, prosperity, peace, love, we need to hear it. So I'm just a fan. I've always been a fan, Mr. Lyrical.
Oh, I appreciate it. Likewise.
Thank you.
I have a question because we were talking a little bit about Dennis. You were talking about how somewhat people were sort of posing, right? And in our era, we had the term or the phrase studio gangsters, right? Like where people just was like gangsters, but they were really gangsters just in the studio. And I wonder what y'all thought is with today's music, right? Like I felt like I heard most of your album already too, Pro, and as I told them, like, yo, that gave me like Reasonable Doubt vibes, like the beats,
okay. Appreciate that
wordplay, like it just has that vibe. Dennis Kershaw also has this vibe, like this authentic, real music, which is why I'm such a fan of Nas. Like I just feel like Rakim, like they're speaking truth, right? Like Lauryn Hill speaking truth. Like, do you feel like that's what's missing in this hip hop game today, and people are just afraid of being themselves? Because that song that you put on, I don't know if it was this show or last show. I'm getting confused as I was watching your show before this. Apologize.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
that was one played earlier. Yep.
Men don't like to be vulnerable, right? With the exception of maybe Tupac, who was like the only one during our era that was really talking. And there are some tracks here and there, like Wu-Tang got a couple of tracks where they really are talking about what they're feeling inside. But it's very rare that you hear that on the radio, right? It's very rare that you see on the videos. And even when I was watching stuff that my daughter was talking about, and she was showing me these female rappers, and I'm just like, damn, like they all Nicki Minaj now, like they all Nicki Minaj now, like that's just how it is, like
yeah. I mean, like, it's tricky because it's I don't know. I mean, it's a great question. I think like I'm not like a Tekashi fan or anything like that, but I know that there's legions of people out there that do. But you could say that Tekashi, in a way, I guess, is vulnerable in a different way, right? Or you could say that someone like Yachty, right, might be vulnerable in a different way. When people are talking about now the stuff that's on Front Street, right? Like people would never dream of putting the stuff that's on Front Street that they do put on now, but it's in a negative light a lot of times, right? It'd be like, yo, I was just, we all started kind of maybe with the lean and the scissor and all that kind of stuff, right? People like telling you, hey, I'm an addict. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at me, I'm an addict. And but there's people doing that in a positive light, and it's received much differently, right? So if people are talking about addiction, we all support that one, like that's dope. But I think sometimes people don't know how. They're not mentored or coached in a way to do it that's acceptable, because like you said, right, it is rare that we see someone being vulnerable, so we always feel we have to make it cool, which is, okay, let's laugh. You can laugh at me, right? You can laugh at me, and you can clearly see I got issues going on. I'm not talking about me necessarily, but I'm saying you can, you know what I'm saying? Like it's people crying out for help, and I think Dennis kind of spoke on that earlier. If you've been through trauma, you've been through trauma. And not everybody knows how to get it out in a way that's socially acceptable. And let's face it, if your mans and them are all thinking that what you're doing is corny, you're not going to put it out there, right? Because that's your feedback circle, and you're not going to feel like it's safe to do that. You might put it out and go, ha ha, look at me on some clown tip, right? You know what I mean? But you're still crying out. So it's like I feel for people that are caught up in that, and I'm thankful that you see ours that way. But it's like, we've been through enough stuff that maybe we know how to do that now. The me, this me, the one that's behind me, this me probably didn't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm caught up in trying to look the part here too. You know what I'm saying? But like it's because of my peer circle at that particular time. That was 2005. I'm a much different person 16 years later than I was then. But I'm not. It's not that I'm like super different. It's that I know. Like Dennis talking about, you got 7 people counting on you at home. You know what's important, right? You know who's really there. You've been through enough life situation that I don't want to make it too long-winded, but I would say this. There's a misconception that, I got to do for my block. But, my block has never really done anything for me in my entire life, to be really honest. Like they might shake your hand and give you a pound when you're coming through the door or whatever. And granted, I didn't live in the same location my entire life, so it could have been a little bit more if I was always in Mass Mills for my whole life. It might have been different, right? I'm just giving that as an example, but it's like everybody has this conception, I gotta do for right around. I think that's a misnomer, because it's like, well, you need that support, yeah. And if people are clowning you and you know what I mean, letting you out the box because you don't have a good vibe where you're from, it's kind of hard to get a buzz going, and people have a right to try to say, I gotta do whatever this dude thinks is important, not necessarily me. So it's hard to be yourself when you're caught up in that trap. Only when you can get out of it and you've traveled and you've done other stuff, and let's face it, you mature a little and you say, yeah, my kid's what's important, or my wife is what's important, or my husband, or whatever it is, right? So part of it's a growing process, and it's hard to look down at someone who's like 19 and caught up in it and be like, oh, why can't you be like me? I was an idiot at 19. I was an idiot at 27. I was probably an idiot at 37. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I'm 50 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do a show and people go, yo, it's like, and I'll be like, no, don't get it twisted. I'm happy you might think I look 30, whatever you think I look, but I'm 50 years old. So I figured it out,
That's a blessing.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
I agree. And what I would say is, to your question is, I think as I studied hip hop, right, I started realizing that a lot of the market is questionable pedophilia. Like a lot of the market is driven by kids that have not experienced the club. They have not experienced adulthood. So vicariously through lyrics and through videos, they're seeing this perception of what is going to happen and what they believe it's going to be. But when you get to the club, you're like, none of these chicks look like Nicki Minaj. Only the ones that are paid to dance nowadays. But back, so as you see the hoax, right? You're like, oh, this is all a lie. You know, and then you start seeing the violence, and then you start becoming, oh, how can I exploit it? But the reality is the drivers of music are little young kids that are not allowed to go out of their house, that have access to either internet or back in the day MTV. Poor communities, we listened to the radio, you know that, or we had tapes, or we were the creators of expression. But the drivers in this society is capitalism, right? So we're so far gone from the hip hop we know, because you used to have to go into the ghetto to hear hip hop, right? But then you have this wave where Eminem comes through and takes it into auditoriums. People don't know the doors that Eminem actually kicked down. You know, like you didn't see Jay-Z and them at the Garden. You know, you had to go to Brooklyn. You had to go to offshoot clubs when Pro was out there. I seen Jay-Z at Razzles in Springfield. Like, he was coming to local spots. But then after Eminem took over, you're talking about $50,000, $60,000 stadiums. It trajects to a different place. And these kids now, what you're really seeing is it's exploitation at its best. A lot of these little kids you see, there's some, the people that we idolized got these kids in a headlock. Yeah, just go out there and sing those lyrics. You know what I mean? And the business, this business was built on the mafia and bootleg and liquor. Like, when you look at entertainment and you really understand its bones, if you're going to get involved in it, you have to decide, are you going to align yourself with some of that stuff? Because I've gone to parties. I sent you some videos, Miguel, after our last interview. I've been in parties where you walk and look in a room and you're like, what is going on in there? You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to get in anything else than that.
Especially in the beat. Yeah.
Well, not only in Boston, like when we're talking entertainment, we're talking about Christian money. We're talking about, Jewish money. We're talking about LGBTQ. Like, we're talking about pockets of people that have major finances, major influence. This year, I joined Taxi.com, which if you don't know about Taxi.com and you're an artist, get on Taxi.com. It's $300 a year, but you're writing towards licensing. So they get listings from movies, from TV, and I'm no longer making music. I've already got 3 songs forwarded, and now I'm waiting to hear back from music supervisors to get placement. Like, it's more like it's deciding which way you want to go and what you want to compromise. For me, like lyrical, I decided I want to use my gift to educate. I want to use my gift to have the dialogue with kids that the school is supposed to be having in middle school and in high school and are not. Like, the time for not talking about sex with young girls and young women, and just waiting until they learn from those days are gone. The not talking about the true history of this country, those days. So I'm a distractor. I'm a rebellious individual trying to constructively destroy the education system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dope.
Yep.
I think Pro, you on mute.
I am. I was trying to save you from when I was typing. Sorry. Thanks. Yo, no, Kath, earlier you said, now it's all dope points. Kathy, earlier you said Childish Gambino. And I'm curious. I'm curious about 2 things, because we're talking, he talks about some real stuff too. It's like, first of all, how did you find out about Childish Gambino? And what is it that pulls you into somebody like that's music?
I heard from him before even, my brother showed me him years ago. My brother is huge into music. He always works with Jared all the time. But I heard from him, probably back in college days, or maybe even early, getting out of high school or something. And I remember just hearing, one of my favorite songs is, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the name.
I could name 3 of his songs to save my life. So
it's one of my, Freaks and Geeks is one of my favorite joint. Okay. It's not really on an album. It's on just something he just threw out there. It's on a small thing. And because Freaks and Geeks is my favorite show. Yep. So I was like, oh, this guy wrote about my show. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was incredible. And I was like, okay. So I just started to follow his music, and it was just he just grew on
absolutely.
topics now every basis of things. He could do politics, anything he did, and he did it in a way that you cannot not listen to it. So I just loved the way that he kind of pushed it out in different ways. And he did the acting scene. He did that.
Yep.
He did different elements of different things, and obviously he had different names. I remember I was like, who are these people? They're the same person. So yeah, that's how I would love.
Yeah,
to
I was like, who Glover? Who? I was like, who? I didn't know his real name. Yeah, so like, I did, but I didn't know that was the same dude.
Right.
You know, when I first heard of him. But that dude is mad vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but we don't even name him. It's interesting that you named him, right? Like my brain didn't even go there to him, but he's dope. I've seen him up on like Funk Flex doing his his bars or whatever. No, I saw him on Sway.
Comedy. He does so many different things that you don't even. You come across it. That's the thing too, unless you really follow him. It's never really
Lando Calrissian, man. I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? That's major, but our brain doesn't even necessarily go there, and maybe it is because he's too vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's interesting that we just won't even necessarily think of a cat like that. And it's like they're out there, but is it like that they get just so flooded up with the millions and millions and millions of other people doing, sort of that same old lane? Like Dennis said, I mean, it's like young cats are driving the industry, and in a way, they're driving the industry because they're driving views. They're not driving the industry at the club. They never were. Right. See, it used to be a misnomer. People would be like, oh, the kids weren't driving anything. The kids were not driving hip hop, right? They were not. They weren't driving the bus. Alcohol sales were driving the bus. Let's keep it real a buck, right? Like it was like, vodka is what's driving the bus,
and Red Bull.
And Red Bull. Yeah. Tell me about it. But nowadays it is, right? Because it can be, who's driving up those billions of views. Yeah, it is people sitting at home that are 14. You know what I mean?
Well, was it Little Yachty that had this interview where he was talking about how he hates conscious rap? I forgot what phrasing he said, but there was an interview. I remember him saying that he hates. Was Little Uzi? He hates conscious rap. He doesn't want to think. He just wants to party and have fun.
Yeah, it might have been Vert. Yeah. It might have been. I remember something like that came out. I just don't remember who said it, but that would strike me as about right. We got Fly in the building, by the way. What up, Fly?
Yo, good
What's
people.
going on,
Yahweh?
Yeah, you Fly.
Welcome.
Speaking of vulnerable artists.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
I'm
me, as always.
I'm ignorant too, so I don't want to come off as this super conscious dude. I like me a nice ignorant record. No, because that's the beauty of music.
Absolutely.
But I don't. So I don't like. It depends the vibe. I just like balance, I guess. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's not enough. Like I could see Jay-Z come out and be in that vibe. Yeah, let's get this money. Yeah. And then I could see a conscious person come out and be like, wow, I connect with that. Right now, it's just all the same.
Yeah,
I mean, I got Conway on heavy rotation, but you know what I'm saying. But it's like I'm not spitting Conway. You know what I mean? It's just like you gotta know your center. I think know what you like and know the situation. And but it doesn't mean you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gotta be your.
I think every generation has this discussion, just because it's different.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's worse. It's different than what we're accustomed to. I will say just highlighting some of the points, or even just to introduce a different perspective. A lot of these kids, man, making music not because they understand how influential music is. So when it comes to being vulnerable, a lot of them just doing it because they see it as an easy way to make money.
That's right.
It's no different than getting a job at McDonald's. You don't do it because you love it or because you really care about the people that's there. You just, this is an easy way to make money. I have an outlet to get out of the hood or change my circumstance, right? And so that's probably 90% of it. Right. They don't really, and this is what I know. This is my environment, so I'm gonna rap about what I do and what I understand on a daily basis. Most of these kids are not thinking about how it influences people or how authentic it is. It wasn't that long ago that Waka Flocka was like, I know I'm a bad rapper, but I can make money being crazy.
Right.
And Blueface, like they're okay with that because they don't care about the art. Right. And so it's just like anything else that you do. Yeah, they do it. They do it for the money, and clearly, people pay them and support them, and for them, that's the satisfaction. Not about who digs them or about what they get hit the charts as far as top 5 MCs. It's about having the top song, and some of that median has been deleted. Like R&B is pretty much gone, right? And so the reason why everything sounds the same is because hip hop is now pop. And so all of those has been blended into one thing, and so everything sounds the same.
let me interject too. I think that Fly has an important point, and that you brought this up before. It's just a generational thing. It's a new generation. They've got their way of expressing, but what I think is seriously something that we need to contemplate is how much Kool-Aid can you drink? And I think the overabundance of the Kool-Aid in terms of how it's rippling through our families and to our children, generation after generation. I think that a lot of what I'm hearing today is much different than what I was doing on the floor, even a few years ago, because it has no boundaries. There are no boundaries in the lexicon of what some of these young people are talking, and it comes down to the culture. And I don't blame anyone for bringing their street, their neighborhood, their consciousness, this is my real life to the stage. What I do understand is that this is systemic and underlying cultural issues around money and the thirst for money and the thirst for what I call Gucci Poochie LaRucci, whatever you want to call it. I think that this drives not just what we see in hip hop and rap and gangster rap. It drives everything. And it drives every aspect of our socioeconomics. It drives every aspect of what is turning businesses into people. And it's just the way it is. What we have to do as people that are willing to cross over, willing to listen, willing to dance to the beat, whatever that beat is when we get the opportunity to drop a word of wisdom, when we get the opportunity for like Childish Gambino to come and say, hey, this is America. We need to say, hey, have you heard this beat? Have you listened to this? This is really dope. This is what is going on, because they will eat you up and spit you out. And we just have to keep them grounded to the fact that you have a moment. You have your YouTube moment, you have your, StreamYard moment or whatever, but tomorrow there's still life, there's still children, there's still grandmama, there's still neighborhood, there's still love and peace and other things that you can't take to the grave with you. And so, hey, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so somebody just dropped something that I was thinking myself when they mentioned Snoop Dogg's album was very similar, or at least it was getting the same kind of feedback. And I can agree. Sometimes I wonder, are we becoming haters as the older generation?
I want to speak to that. No, we're not.
A little bit.
Well, this is why I want to say no, because I want to clarify, right? I have no issue with the artist. So the things I'm speaking to have nothing to do with these kids and the music they're making.
Yeah.
The issue I have is like having been someone that was, when I got out of Walpole, I got out for a shooting, right? And I was introduced to a couple guys as a goon. I'm 6'2". I was known to carry hammers. And the stuff that we did behind the scenes is we exploited these young kids. Like we were meeting up with, when we went into Texas, when we went into Cali, we had to go in a week in advance and directed by labels, by money, to handle a lot of security and street stuff that has nothing to do with the music. And sometimes we would go into studios and tell and like, wrongly mentor these kids.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I feel like, teaching a kid, you got to watch out because these dudes are trying to get a. No, let's put this kid in music classes. He's obviously really talented at music. And it's hard because it's like, when do we self-police ourselves? When do we take an examination of the culture that we've inherited? Because now we have power. Now that it's not mob controlled and get in there and sing Sam Cooke or we'll shoot you. We're not in those times no more. We've inherited, a way to make money, and I think some of us are holding on to those exploitive ways like that. We've become capitalists. We become venture capitalists.
Yes,
and we've trajected away from social and community and Black Panther and some of the things that I think the beauty came out of. So my thing is not the artist. I love Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. To no offense to the women, but that album, I remember creeping in my room with my headphones and my grandmother coming, what you listen to, boy? And I'm like, nothing.
Nothing there.
So that stuff, and when I'm speaking into opinions of visualizing, I was like, man, I can't wait to be 18 and be able to meet Snoop.
Yeah.
You know? And then you get there and you're like, well, this ain't it. The main issue that I have is with you. If you've been in hip hop industry stuff, when you walk into a main arena and there's artists, there's guys that are there that will kill you. Why is that? Like, why amongst our most talented people do we have threats of murder and violence, and why can't our artists just be artists? So I want to see that change, and that's the main reason why, like, with me, I'm trying to use all of my street influence to have uncomfortable conversations because I don't like the police shouldn't have to do this work. We can figure it out.
That's deep, bro.
That's right.
We can
That's
figure
right.
it out, you know?
That's right. That's right. Bring us to the table. Bring us to the table. Bring those of us that are in the trenches to the table. And that's the problem, because we've long been denied access to the very programs and opportunities that other people have made money off of, because again, it's just another way of capitalizing off of people that are already oppressed and distressed in their minds, in their hearts, in their souls. And so I come to you with a program, or I come to you with something that I know could work. Why? Because it's me. It's where I am. I know what they're thinking. I know how they feel. And I know the disparaged way that they go and live their lives, but you won't even let me come and talk with them. And because you already got the contract sold up. But now that day is over.
Yeah, pay us to do that work. By the way,
P.S. I love you.
And I'm from Quiones Culture Consultants. But something that Fly said earlier, though, right? Like, it's crazy. He said he believes young people utilize music as a way of getting money. Like, we're still saying that, and it's 2021.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we still have young people feeling like there's no other way of making money.
Of course.
And this
is an incredible hard way that most people never make a penny.
They don't understand. They don't understand that. They don't have that full concept. Because like all of us is admitted to, we had to also go through that maturation process as well. So we were all at that stage that they're at right now, like thinking this is the way, whether it was the streets, drugs, whatever it was, we had our way of thinking that this is the easiest, the quickest way for me to do it. And I'm gonna do it this way, not fully understanding until his point a few seconds ago, you know. And then you had the OGs too, that they know how hard the way is, but they not, because they just trying to mold another generation. So they're not telling you don't do it. They're not discouraging you, which that's our responsibility. Something that we should have started 2 decades ago, instead of molding them to be more like hip hop artists and thugs and street people. We've taught them to be more like hip hop thugs and street people, and so now that evolution has kept going, and now this is what we stuck with. And part of that,
yo, Fly, wisdom is now respected.
Yes.
Wisdom is a cool thing now, because it took the OGs stepping into the new age to start waking people up.
And that's what we got to do now. Just consistently be reminding these kids in other ways, and you see some of that a lot more, like with Kendrick Lamar, where you see artists that are conscious and it's cool. That was the time where if you were, India Ari, outside of really Lauryn Hill, you couldn't get Grammys and sell records, consistently or tour off one album. Lauryn was the exception. But if you were Common, if you were Talib, and I'm talking outside of the East Coast, if you've been on the West Coast, a lot of people don't know who Talib was 10 years ago. And so now, like he said, it's more acceptable. And so I think we have a segue with some of the young people to be able to let them know that you can be conscious in your music and still be successful at what you're doing, because of the independence that we have and the liberties that we have with our music, separate from labels. That was one of the issues we had too, where it was like we talked about the mafia influence, and where you had to make a certain kind of music to sell records or else. And they controlled everything you did. They controlled the narrative. Now we have a little more liberty about what kind of music we want to make, and we can still get it out to the world and be heard.
Yes, truth.
Yo, truth. I got speaking of music, Preacher, I got some of your music in the shoot. In fact, now we do a thing here, and big up to Quo, man. Quo's back in the building, man. That's major.
Quo.
Happy wedding day,
congratulations, man. Happy wedding day.
Hey, Fly, hold up real quick. Just a side note, something that's very important. So, Shorty was like, yo, you ain't talking about the wedding, right? You talking about hip hop? I'm like, yeah. She's like, go. She's like, go do it. Go do it. Because as long as you ain't talking about that.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Throwback.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's crazy because actually that photo is monumental because we always go to Foxwoods in March on the 5th for her birthday. Okay. We couldn't do that this year. So I was like, you know, let's upgrade your ring.
Yeah.
Put a couple more thousand into that. Get the marriage certificate. Anyway, we dropping it. Fly.
Love it.
She sent me over here.
That's today.
Well, yeah. Quo, I just want to say that Lyrical called me in and he's like, there's a wedding, and I'm like, a wedding? Who's getting married? I came tonight to congratulate you, and I feel blessed. I feel blessed that you came back through here. This makes me very, very happy, and just to meet these beautiful people, Miss Kath and all the rest of you, I am honored to be at the table with you.
It is so
school that I am.
Yeah, listen, I bow down to you, PS. Like
Thank
on
you.
the mental,
we got to run the PS joint before we get out of here.
No,
PS on it too.
Sure.
Maybe
sure. I mean,
but right now, we got first. I got to shout out Fly too. Fly's got new material. Fly, hit it, before we run this record by Preacher Man. Tell us what you got. What you got going on right now?
Right now, the latest single that I released was FCR, favorite Christian rapper. Got a visual with it. Video came out as well, and so I believe in that vulnerable, conscious music too. Just, you know, this is who I am. This is what God gave me. I'm unashamed of what I believe. I believe in being a husband and being a father is the coolest thing on earth, and you know, supporting the community. That's my thing. I believe about music, and so, but there is a consciousness too to be good at it and to be, you know, cool.
Yeah. See, I told Miguel. I told him, I was like, "You got me, Fly, man. Fly's in that right zone, man." I heard,
yeah, for sure.
Fly stays that level. Like it's like when you think Fly like a bird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
who is this?
But for real, you gotta check out this show. You gotta check out this show on Sunday. They run their show, man, and they'll tell you more about it before they get out of here. But
got to see that.
But yeah, it's definitely on the same wavelength for sure. But yo, right now, so what I was gonna say is we run a segment that you'll be sort of our unofficial official segment person. Now we didn't really got our 5 minutes of Flames, but 5 minutes Flames, we like to drop something hot, something new that people haven't heard before. But in your case, people have probably heard this before. So I was gonna run, if it's all good with you, can I run Look At Here?
Yeah, you could. It's an honor. Run whatever. You can run.
All right, cool. Because I have that back here in the shoot.
Run it, man. Run it.
Yeah, we're gonna run that. So let's do it the right way. Let's do it.
I like the hat too, brother.
I like your hat too.
C's on. Yeah, but it's just because it matches the Fly, you know. But
we're gonna jump this
Boston logo.
Absolutely. So we're gonna run these Flames in a second. This is how we usually do it.
It's still coke, still dope, still cocaine. It's low flow, still lyrical zeal, spit propane. Up in your grill without that profane. Road rage, it's pro quo, bro. That's the flow plus the show's name.
Well, it wasn't a smooth transition, but but right here we got I'm playing it straight off the Facebook, y'all. But that's good, y'all know I'm keeping it legit, so we playing straight off the Facebook. This and by the way, before we pump it in there too, I want to say good looks. I seen the plays. I saw the Shade 45 up in there, Jammin 945 supporting the record, so that's always dope. This has been played before, so this is definitely not like first day out the box kind of stuff. This is stuff that's been getting some spin. So let's check it out. I want to make sure I got the audio playing too, because a second ago I couldn't hear it on my headphones. So let me just double check that. And we have, that's going. Boom. Let's try it. Look at here.
If they hate, let them hate, that's the price of being great. Learned a lot from my mistakes, things I wish I could erase. Fix your face, it's a marathon, not a race. You know they get a little buzz and they think they own the place. Look at here, look, I don't really care. I told you we was coming, gave you time to get prepared. Look at here, look, life ain't always fair. I'ma pull up when I pull up, we can talk when I get there. If I don't know you, why you talking to me like I know you? That's disrespectful, don't nobody owe you.
business hours are over, keep it social. I got a manager for that, y'all better wake up. Took a couple years to get this cake up. No new friends, only breakups. Had to cut them off again. Quick to block a troll like Matumbo at the rim. No. I don't need them. If you don't got my number, please don't hit me in the DM. Well respected, well connected, man, it's bigger than rap. Anytime we wanna show up, we just come through the back. If they hate, let them hate, that's the price of being great. Learned a lot from my mistakes, things I wish I could erase. Fix your face, it's a marathon, not a race. You know they get a little buzz and they think they own the place. Look at here, look, I don't really care. I told you we was coming, gave you time to get prepared. Look at here, look, life ain't always fair. I'ma pull up when I pull up, we can talk when I get there. If I don't need you, why you talking to me like I need you? That's disrespectful, we ain't even equals. I just tolerate you cause I know your peoples. And I'm calling them after this, back down to no one. I don't trust them far enough that I could throw them. Let them talk, then we'll show them. Boogie, bring my car to the front and fire whoever brought this dude for ruining lunch. Violence is overrated, half these dudes ain't worthy of punch. They know somebody that somehow know us. Stop complaining, the game's a game, you gotta learn to adjust. There ain't no other options for us, coming up is a must. If they hate, let them hate, that's the price of being great. Learned a lot from my mistakes, things I wish I could erase. Fix your face, it's a marathon, not a race. You know they get a little buzz and they think they own the place. Look at here, look, I don't really care. I told you we was coming, gave you time to get prepared. Look at here, look, life ain't always fair. I'ma pull up when I pull up, we can talk when I get there.
Yeah, I got y'all on mute, so sorry about that.
Oh my God, preach
that joint fire. What?
I appreciate it, man.
That's why it's getting played.
Yeah.
Man,
I look forward. The main thing I want to say is when we first came on the bars, I think that you started the show with. Mm-hmm. I was like, I already decided. I'm gonna tell Miguel we gotta collab on something. So that's all.
I might need Fly on that joint too.
Oh, definitely.
Might need Fly on that joint too.
Yo, that's what we do here, man. We all about that instant brotherhood.
Brotherhood. Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We supposed to do this. This is how you make change. This is how you do it. You put a bunch of dope talent. New Wu-Tang, right? Kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
I think for me, it's like I've been doing music so long. It started when I first went into DYS that like I'm so desensitized. Like you're not gonna hit that shot every time. Like I'm sure like me, y'all got a bunch of tracks that you don't play for nobody. So this is one of the Mohicans that made it up the mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love what you're saying in it too. Man, like you painted a great picture. You know what I mean? I can't recite anything right now because I had a couple glasses of wine and all that.
Yeah, as expected.
The energy of that record was really like
Oh, we lost.
All right,
I got you. Oh, we lost you. Got you.
So a lot
to preach was that this is the maturation. We talked about 10,000 hours last week. That you structure your verses almost exactly alike. That's maturity. It's almost like you wrote one verse and then you broke it into 2 half verses and then completed it. That's the maturity in writing and that structure that I still appreciate that makes it art.
Yo, and those last like 4 bars before the ending of the second verse, I'm like, this dude just killed it, right? He just put it in the great,
That laid back flow stuff is hard to pull off too. You can sound real sloppy. You do that the wrong way, and making that sound tight like that is definitely.
We're already in the same. So that's recorded at Wonka's.
Yeah.
So that was shout out to Bob for that.
Bob.
And what I definitely want to say is that taxi.com. Which really helped me this year is understanding listings and understanding kind of where is this album going to be placed because it's a business. So look at here is specific. I'm looking at a specific listing, a specific market to tap into. Where when I'm doing R&B, I'm looking at a listing. When I'm doing instrumental beats. Just you got to look with the prevalence of Netflix and all these streaming channels.
Yep.
You could just make some very minimalistic beats send them in, and they'll make a spot on a movie. It don't gotta be a hit because it's just something where someone's running out of a house and they need some music to intensify that scene. So I'm just real strategic now with understanding. Let me, for lack of a better word, pimp my talent for these listings, but then accrue funding to do projects with brothers I love that where I can speak in freedom. And it doesn't matter what I'm saying or if it's selling or not.
Most important.
That's it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Quo and I talk about it all the time. Like, what do we got, Quo, on these? We just decided to go with 13. 13. We just made that announcement today. We go on 13 tracks.
How you gonna pick 13?
Well, we're doing a trilogy albums. We're doing 3 albums, and the first one dropping in June. We got 13 tracks. But how many of them?
We already got 2 done.
How many of them get samples, yo? How many of them get samples that will not be cleared? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at
one thing I just learned too, Pro, actually recently, is that the way that they have sample clearing now is actually a better strategy. It's very, you know what I mean, comparatively speaking, right? So when you was doing your thing, it was like, yo, you better be hand playing whatever you're giving me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely evolved, but the point being is that, of course, the more sample free stuff you can do, the better for you on the business end. If you want to get your stuff placed easily, I mean, a lot of these 50-50 placement deals, cats ain't even talking to you. And I told you, Quo, I had 3 on my Infinity album. They were like, we want this one, and this one, straight to movies. And they were like, there's no samples, right? And I was like, nah, they're all samples, and none of them are cleared.
Just so you know.
And they were like, oh, sorry, take those 3 back.
Pull them later.
Yeah, and at the time, it was like $2,500 just for the syncing of those songs. Just the syncing of those tracks was $2,500 right there, just like gone. Let alone where that would have went in the movie. You know what I mean? Depending if it's closing credits or whatnot.
Look, all I know is I can't wait to follow through with your strategy because my strategy's never worked. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Right. But yo, real quick, a pause in the intermission to say, my cousin Catherine, baby girl, I love you, sweetie. Thank you so much. Yo, holding me down and coming in, and yo, I told you, I text you when you see your text message because I know you couldn't see it now.
I'm focused.
You focused. You zoned in. I said, baby girl, you a natural.
So many people came through to support you, Jay Cruz. We got so many messages. So many people wanted to come through.
I posted a lot of stuff up. P.S. I'm just so P.S. You made. I mean, you already know with the Madman and all that.
Yeah.
Kat and I were talking.
At that point, I said, "This is whatever she got to say. I'm the best student I can be."
Kath and I were talking before. We were like, "Yo, we gotta have Kath. We're gonna talk on some relationship stuff." And we ain't gonna have anybody here, So let's talk about some, like wedding stuff. And we're like, "Yo, everybody came through for y'all, man." So
man, I appreciate it. It's cool, man.
Save me from being.
I gotta bring that.
What's that, Miguel?
I came prepared.
Oh, he got the Sonics jersey on. Oh, he got the Kemp on.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, man.
He got the
All-Star Weekend, yo.
That's the unofficial, official jersey right there.
Yo, I went to Liz, right? I'm like, I need some new hats for the show. Like, I keep wearing the same whatever. So man. I picked up the original, like the Bucks with the purple Bucks. I'm gonna get me I want to get a Glenn Robinson. I think I might go back to Glenn.
Low spinners.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Big dog. There you go, brother. Yes, sir.
You gotta go old school on them. You gotta go old school with the Kangos, man.
The Kangos.
You gotta go old school with the Kangos. You gotta come multiple Kangos, man. You gotta come multiple.
That last one, he saved the gold for the last.
Unofficial Kangos one.
Yeah.
One of the things we do at Sunday dinner is like we've bought. Anyone has been our guest, we've contributed, right? Like we bought the guy that was last week. We bought his sweatshirts. We bought books from the other person. So being a guest here, I want to continue with that tradition. If you can get me you guys' album, so Sunday dinner, we just like to purchase. You Fly and PS.
You're purchasing the pre-save.
Yeah, you get the pre-save. We ain't got nothing official out. Yeah.
Even if there's something that's
you can buy Fly though. You can buy that Fly though.
But I tell you what, preach, man. Look,
I got a single out. It's called Homework. You can stream that. Yeah,
there you go.
We'll get it. We'll get it. And I would like to. So there's this collaborative idea that we've had, and I've been keeping it under wraps. Maybe we could do a show together once we get our streaming up. I want to do the dating game on Zoom.
What?
I want to get a bachelorette, right? Someone that's single. We'll pay for the.
It's not Shen.
Well,
That's
no, whoever.
definitely not. Yo, don't make me. I'm a
No, yeah. We're gonna pay for the the Cheesecake Factory. So whoever the single person is, you get a nice meal, and then we're gonna black out. We're gonna black out 3 cameras.
I think it's Kath and PS right now.
We're gonna get some bachelors, and then have the bachelorette ask some questions. And then she picks the guy, and then we turn those cameras on and see if she won.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I'd like to collaborate with y'all. Wow. Let's make this happen together, right? And just have a fun show.
All right.
That's gonna be crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
Yo, put it 125 million%. My girl
pin the tail on the Bachelorette.
For real. She'd be like, really? They gonna do that? Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
Oh, that's too crazy.
This looks like the dating game right now, the old school one.
It really do.
Like,
this looks cool, man.
Love connection.
Yeah, that was it, right? That was the one the game was on.
Yo, we
right?
playing them the PS. We playing them the PS.
Yeah, let's run that PS.
Hey, you know what? What I'd like to do is just maybe one of my own pieces and save that. Keep that in the. Or under the lid for a minute.
We're blasting on them no matter what you tell us. So you can do that piece, but we're going out on that. We're going out on P.S. Perkins no matter what you do.
I can't wait to have
it. What you got for us, P.S.?
Hold on, wait. P.S. Could we use it in the album? Is that cool?
It's probably a little bit too much for that. But listen, just to clarify, I'm not I'm not a lyric. I'm not a rapper. I do a little spoken word. I'm a poet and a storyteller, and the word is God, and God is the word. That's my life. And so I'm always trying to make a point in a way that people can move with it, move mentally, emotionally, spiritually with it. So anyway, we were talking about how we've all been so affected in the underneath of everything that we've been talking about tonight, generationally, intergenerationally, trying to pull ourselves back together. So this piece is called Bothersome, but you got to keep up with it. Not because I'm going fast, but because it has a lot in it. Okay, so this is called Bothersome. It doesn't bother me that you always think I'm the dog walker, the dishwasher, the busboy, the maid, the gardener, the gangbanger, the rapper, the hostess, the sales lady, the raider, the greeter, the butler, the welfare queen, the hustler, the hoe, the pimp, the chimp, the ignorant, the flawed, the foolish, the drug runner, the drug user, the violent, the weak, the system abuser, the thief, the criminal, the prisoner, the con. What bothers me is that you don't see you the same as me until we see our common humanity. We won't recognize the generational pain of stereotypes, because all things right, us, we the doctor, the lawyer, the preacher, the astronaut, the teacher, the scientist, the chef, the artist, the counselor, the sociologist, the pilot, the producer, the vet, the horticulturalist, the seismologist, the caretaker, the architect, the engineer, the ophthalmologist, the baker, the parent, the athlete, the dancer, the singer, the mortician, the painter, the politician, the president, and the vice president. We be everything we want to be if we have the opportunity. That's why it don't bother me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Never, ever. Because you know, the person that you talking about is the same person that you is or could be or are going to be, and you're looking at something that don't make no sense.
See, the thing is, all things equal, we are who we want to be. And our job, sitting where we sit, is to take this word and elevate it to a point. When I say spirituality, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about being able to drink of your consciousness to the point where you can manifest dreams and goals and understand that whoever Kool-Aid you is drinking, whatever words you drinking and taking in and labeling yourself and quantifying and qualifying yourself with, they need to be the words coming out of your mouth that you are producing what it is that you want to see. And so to me, that's what that's about. It's not that any of that is good or bad. It's just, hey, whatever it is we want to be, we be. But you got to give me equality. You got to give me equity so that I can get there. So I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Exactly. Exactly. In the beginning is the word. Everybody.
That's
everybody. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for letting me do that.
Yo,
that was
welcome,
beautiful.
PS.
That was beautiful, PS. Thank you for you thanking us. We all like literally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo,
I'm just happy to be in the audience of this brilliance and this beauty, Miss Kath. Thank you. No, for real.
Don Juan had to jump in for real.
I had no idea this was my evening. I'm ready to, drink some hot milk and call it a night.
Don Juan's in the booth. What up, Don Juan?
Y'all done woke me up.
Hello to everyone. Hello to everyone, especially Miss P.S. Perkins as well. I just wanted to say hello to everyone as well.
We got Don Juan. You got the show coming up. We got the show coming up on the other side.
I think so. I think they're gonna start off with a little bit of a slow video warm up, and then we're gonna jump over there in probably about 10 minutes or so.
Absolutely, yo, y'all need to check out that show. They got Friday Night Live going on right after us.
Hip-Hop
Check that
Citizen.
out.
Yeah, make sure you
Hip-Hop
piece
Citizen.
that. HipHopCitizen.com.
Yo, we gonna run this. We gonna run this. Yeah. What was it? Oh, what's that?
I said congratulations again to Quo.
Hey,
oh yeah,
Don Juan,
absolutely.
yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Quo.
brother.
Quo time.
Great to see a great guest, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Dennis, Miguel. It's a pleasure to meet you brothers as well.
Absolutely.
Captain.
Yeah.
Cat stepping in the big chair to help us out too.
And Yahweh as well, brother.
I'm excited, and I'm really excited to chop it up with you too, man. Like, I didn't get to really watch much today, but tomorrow I'll revisit it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited because I heard about y'all.
And we're gonna try to get Quo over there on your show, Miguel too, on Sunday too.
Facts.
All of that. That invite goes on to all of you as well.
Yeah,
Facts.
yo, we're gonna run this P.S. Perkins. She's a guest on Final Fire. Final Fire is one of the tracks on our album, and we had to throw her on there, and not throw her on. We had to make a spot,
gracefully put her inside of some element.
That is better said. Thank you.
Boom. Look, it's produced by my man Larcy Vegas out of the Netherlands, Amsterdam. Shout out.
Yeah. Let me make sure that I got it right in the queue. There we go. Oh, right below that, you see some fly right there too. Might have to run that too. Final Fire, ProQuo featuring P.S. Perkins. This is about 90% done, right, Jay Cruz?
Yeah. P.S. I'm gonna make you sound. You're gonna be so audible right now. I have to do some levels, but
okay, I got you.
Yeah. What up, Vegas?
What up, Boston, Mass?
Yeah. What up, Amsterdam?
Wingland in the DMV.
Yeah. Throwing ties, the Final Five. Immaculately crafted in these halls, hieroglyphs. Born and translated, the vocabulary's obvious. Throw your arms later when the beats is the catalyst. Mind the word labor, retrace back to Avalis. Got the old hater buying back in my establishment. Lit the torch, May 21st, 2020. Bagging up your purse, cause I hearse with a chariot. No dirt for my Harriet, it hurts so I tally it. Finite things off the cross when I carry it. Primo suits in the booth, then I marry it. Kilos coop for a keynote activist. Trolls in the feeds, hide them, you test the accurate. You weak off the words, I take them to inhabitants. The front line with me, red dots on contaminants. Quotables over punchlines, call the ambulance. Atmosphere bright, off the ambulance.
Hands and wrists stay lit with the amethyst. Been dripping the ambiance from the sconces with the candles lit. I can't riffs real quick like a hammer click. My mans and them come dumping a couple cans upon your canvases. Box cutters coming out, we're doing the candlestick. But winning the competition since before the drink get habited. My fame is never rich, obtain all the extras. One expert still remains, all except for the main expletives. I spit flames when you drain your main beverage. Skill level obtained and trained, your brain will hemorrhage. Just my average is so far from your maximum. Subtract them, even my math skills can't even fathom them. Difference between us is steep as elite geniuses. Trying to teach them cavemen to read what my recent thesis says. All of my drip, you should feed it through intravenous's. And watch these hip-hoppers come back to life with no weaknesses.
What up, Vegas?
What up, Boston, Mass?
What up, Amsterdam?
Wingland in the DMV.
The Throwing Ties, the Final Five. What up, Vegas?
What up, Boston,
Why did this happen? Who created this wretched travesty passing itself off as life? How did it move from father to son, all sharing the same block on the block while doing time on the rock? Insouciantly regarding the world around him, long ago relinquishing his throne of royalty. Subjects scattered through global channels of shackled disbursement, swept away by brutal decrees of worthless worth, very generations of a golden birth, no longer able to retain, trying to maintain, struggling to regain knowledge, internalized, necessitating greatness.
We gonna go right into that fly joint. It's right back to back. We gotta let it run. We got Yahweh in the place. That was crazy, the P.S. Perkins ending there. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Grown man
Let's
music.
make it known, you know what I mean? How you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that Freedom Pro. Plans work, we immerse with the jury though. Yeah, how you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm, what you doing, Quo? I'm on the corner free riding with my clique in them. Before Atlanta, Mississippi hit the map off of discipline. Disciples at the table thinking labels made of Timberlands. Recycled off the majors, quarantine, I'm in the crib again. Playing daddy, school teacher, and a hooligan. I'm on salary, not married, but I'm rudiment. The queen cheers, so it's cheers, bottles moving in. That's weekdays, long nights, videos on Peruvian. A big dream texturized on a podium. Reflect the vibes, hope you feel what I sow in them. We on books, former crooks, tall castles, no linoleum. There's no church, but I preach on this flow we in. The temple is my mental, so the soul is detrimental. When I hit the instrumental with the pen, don't use a pencil. You understand the code, so conversion is eventual. Know the version I'm essential. How you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that Freedom quote. Plans work, we immerse with the jury though. Yeah, how you feeling, how you doing though?
Feeling good, feeling
good. Hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm, what you doing, Quo?
Place me in the verses with these rappers this hot, and I will place them in these hearses in the back of a box. Got a catalog that stretches like a jack in a box. Underground, I am legend, the original plot. Stop provoking how I'm poking and stoking the flames. Freedom riding on some Stokely before he change up his name. Changing the game, my whole education was lame. Mega Evers, no one ever even mentioned his name. Martin either, even him, barely a quarter of a page. We learned nothing about that corner where that freedom was laid. A shame. Now many corners where there's MLKs, boulevards, grilling hard, still things ain't changed. Is we supposed to leave the hood or is we supposed to refrain? Trying to play the Eric Sposter, era post King James. Spit flames, how we handle that heat. Gripping that rosary while getting our Romari on doing it how it's supposed to be.
How you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that freedom, yo. Plans work, we immerse with the jury though. Yeah, how you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm, what you doing, yeah.
Forever lives your way. Freedom Corner, free from the corner. About to get it poppin' like corn, it's a warmer. Had the ultimatum like my name, chasing bomber. Changed up my life cause it was jail or the corner. My life is like a movie, I ain't talking Time Warner. Spirit got me speaking different language like a foreigner. Yeah, cold summers and the winters getting warmer. So I'm really out of pocket like a young Kurt Warner. I warned you, only judge a book by its chapters. Pencil that he pistol for them pistols leaving captive. That melanin is gold, so I'm knowing what they after. You only live twice, so I'm living for the afterlife. All Christ don't need him being subliminal. The way I'm killing beats would think they ought to be criminal. New era, but no cap, and I got that bag in the intervals. And his blessings on blessings, gotta know that harvest is plentiful.
How you feeling, how you doing though? Instrumental hit the studio. Truly more than making music, so fan first, stand firm for that freedom, yo. Plans work, we immerse with the jury though.
Yo, bro, that Freedom Corner is stupid. Oh my God, bro. get to the crib, I'm finna bump this on the studio monitor.
Man. Y'all gotta get that out. I need that on the playlist.
Man, right? That came out so good.
June 11th.
And that's beautiful because that's so much Mississippi in that. Like the production's Mississippi, Yahweh representing Mississippi for Fly, but Yahweh is, you know what I mean? Like it's a deep record, man. Really is. And I like how we all brush upon different topics around that subject.
Comes in after P.S. Perkins. Real nice.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Freedom Corner. I like that.
Free from the corner.
Freedom Corner. Free from the corner. Oh, Yahweh. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a street. That's a street here in Jackson, in Mississippi, where Martin Luther King Drive and Medgar Evers Boulevard meet. Mm-hmm. And there's a little memorial where they have, it's called the Freedom Corner, which is what the label was named after. That I rap with, and the guy that made the beat, JB, he's on Legendary, one of my homies. I've been knowing him for like 15 years. And so it just all kind of came together too. So that's excellent. Which I heard he's supposed to be adding something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting 8 bars. I'm getting 8 bars or something.
Yeah, y'all got me frustrated. I like to listen to a track like literally 8 times. Well, I don't like. I'm not a one listener.
Talk,
I like to go back. Then I gotta hear the bass line. Then I gotta hear the nuances. So now, like, I'm just intrigued, and now I gotta wait however long until y'all release this. So my point is, balls in your court. Yeah. Hurry this up.
I would appreciate it.
Hey, but you know what?
Yo, Cole, I was saying earlier, this track and the other tracks, it gives me Reasonable Doubt vibes.
Well, that's dope, man.
It's storytelling.
That's huge, man. Yo, that's
just like the storytelling, but like the beats. There's like the vibe of the whole album. And I listened to half of it so far, like it just has that kind of personality. You know what I mean?
that Chandeliers joint sets that tempo. I think the second joint, it sets that reasonable. That's that Reasonable Doubt tempo. Gravity too, though.
Gravity.
Y'all wait till you hear what Fee did today. If you think that sounded like Reasonable Doubt, shout out to my man Ski Beats, lacing Fee with the beat for today.
Yeah, you were saying this earlier.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm obviously highly influenced by Rocker Block and Rockefeller and Reasonable Doubt because that's my lineage. But that's but Jay really is responsible for picking almost all of those beats. He ran, I'd say maybe 50 beats by me, and tried to find ones we gel on, and we got 22 right now of those 50 that we have done. And that's a high ratio. When someone's showing you 50 beats and you got 22, I say no to everything. I'm like, nah, not like that.
In a 2 month period, mind you.
Yeah. So
that's
you know what I mean? A lot of instrumentals. But
a lot of talent out there, man. A lot of talent.
touched on that earlier today. Just a lot of stuff that you've written, archives. You got albums that nobody heard.
I think I wanted to say too. Maybe this is something to get close to wrapping it up on. Is that we were talking about how like maybe sometimes it's young people who dictate it. Maybe it's older people who got capital who can buy those drinks at the bar, whatever. It's really, it takes one person to start a movement. It really does. When people gravitate towards authenticity, you've seen them psychological videos maybe when someone's trying to get like a movement started, those kids on the hill and they're all jumping around. I don't know if y'all have seen that video, but it's crazy, right? It's like these psychology videos of what it takes to get a movement going, and just one person does it. It's not cool. 2 people do it. Maybe you'll get 3, and before you know it, it sort of snowballs. And the thing is that I've been around enough to see a lot of trends come and go in hip hop. And the thing is I think you need to know what your center is so that you don't sound like a damn fool when you're up on the latest and greatest stuff, when it sounds like you've totally switched your entire flow, or you've totally switched your entire thing, when it's just because you like some new track and it's become you, right? There's one thing about test driving things and changing and evolving, but there's another thing when you're trying to switch it up for every single trend that comes. And right now what's scaring a lot of MCs is like, we're seeing it in the COVID era. People like lyricism, they do, but it's been hard to do that. We talked about at the front of the show, when you're in the club, you can't really hear anything. It's given lyricism a chance to come back. And if you're a poet and you're a lyricism, we got people like PS up on there, so you can hear what they're saying. Fly is really saying something. Jay is saying something in every track. I'm trying to say something in every track. but I'm trying to do it true to what my core is. You know what I'm saying? So if you know what your core, I can rhyme on anything. You know what I'm saying? Any kind of beat, because that's what you do. It's like what you do. But I know what really like hits me here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got to take that inventory and figure out what that is for you, so that when the trends come and go, you still you might be riding a wave, you might be dipping on a valley, but you know where you're trying to get back to, where your center is. And I just think it's important so people don't get lost, because when these trends come and go, if you weren't somewhat true to what it is you do, you can get washed ashore. You know, Waka Flocka can start looking a little, you know, like if you're just too Waka Flocka, I'm just using that because you said it. If you're too whoever you are, Wiz Khalifa,
and
whoever it is.
Waka is nice.
Absolutely, but I'm just throwing out any name, right? Any name out there, that whoever's style or whatever it is, you know, you got to come back to who it is that makes you you, because that's what started your movement in the first place, you know. And we can evolve, we can grow, we can adapt, we can do all that. But there's got to be a center.
Look at the new era of time is the life's algorithms. You see, social media is taught social media algorithms, and now this algorithm. When you have two people, me and Pro, we start doing our thing, and then we start growing, and we see now. Look, we got 7 people on here right now, like-minded people, with a big vision. So now you just surrounded yourself with the people that are like you. Yo, the more we do this, when this is like double, triple, quadruple, that's making some serious stuff.
Waves, man.
I just wanted to go ahead.
Yeah.
Going back to what Pro was just talking about, listen, people are looking for authenticity. And if that authenticity is what you know on the block, and whoever's doing time on that rock or whatever, if that's the authenticity, that's it. But right now, everybody is looking for something. And that something is coming out of this group in a way that's, look, there are alternatives. There are alternatives. Bring what you got to the table, and let's look at how we can diversify all of that. I liked what Preacher said earlier. I got some stuff happening behind the scenes. I'm diversifying what I'm doing. You know, I'm going to make a little bit over here, make a little bit over here. And I think one of the things we don't do with our young as much as we should, and I say, look, you don't have to be up front. Let me tell you how much you can make in the back over here. You know, let me let you know behind this camera, behind this soundboard, and that's where we're missing, because we can't make a lot of the decisions because we're not back there. We're so busy trying to be in the front, when really we can pull up the back and create a whole new system of who gets to come to the front. And who gets to manage the back. And I think we really need to focus on that a lot in all of the arts, in all areas. You know, let's make sure that they know that there is opportunity everywhere in everything that they do. And that's what Preacher's talking about. That's what Fly. I just want to say real quick, shout out to Jacksonville, Mississippi, the water situation down there. We got a lot of people. They need not only the water of the word, but they need some real water.
They need some real water.
Yeah, we heard all about Texas, and Mississippi is having a really, really hard time. So I just want to send a shout out to our people down there.
Yeah, y'all pray about that. If you know anybody with any resources or any connections to the area, like we doing all that we can. I work in the hospital, and so we've been giving away cases of water. 2 weeks ago, we had a winter storm. I put together in the dietary department, we fed all the employees for free. They were sleeping at the hospital. And so I fed everybody, me and my staff, we fed everybody for free. Just trying to do, you know, whatever we can to help people. But it's bad. It's still people today. I got employees right now that don't have water.
Yeah.
See, so I ain't even trying to be funny, but like, let me tell you something. Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you gave us that bag, bro, we would take the majority of that bag and do stuff like this. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just and I gotta go. My wife's starting to give me the thumbs down. I'm not putting these kids to bed by myself. Look, but what I wanted to say is 2 things. One, music-wise, when I listen to music, the big difference I see is we grew up with a drum cadence, and now it's more piano. You know what I'm saying? Like lyrics are based more. When we came up, it was you were hearing the beat, and then you were more on like a drum, da 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 da, and now it's transferred more to keys.
Yep.
And I think that has a lot to do with programming, Fruity Loops. We could get into a discussion about that. But the point that I want to make is educate yourself to making music. No notes, whole notes, 30. You know, like get into the substance of music. And then the other thing that PS was saying, what separates me from other artists is that I'm a co-founder of a nonprofit. So when I walk into spaces and there's the executive director of the YMCA, there's the executive director of, we're doing Harvard's Lead, so we're learning venture capitalists in partnership with other city partners. The difference is I'm the only dude in there that raps and does music.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hip hop is a beautiful. Hip hop is amazing when it's used as a really good weapon and
as a platform.
You gotta.
It can definitely be used for that. You know, talking about.
I thought he mic dropped and just bounced.
When things like trends and stuff like that. You know, earlier today I was talking to my daughter about how we used to wear ski masks. Like that was the style, and I showed her the Daz Effects video.
Right.
Preacher, you out?
Preach, man. Good seeing you.
I got him. Yo, we're gonna connect. Man. This is just the beginning.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah,
I got you.
I got
we'll
working like
this weekend.
5 hours, bro.
Yeah, Jay Cruz has no business being here.
No business.
But it's all good. I'm so happy. This is my little bachelor party, and I got a girl here.
Yeah.
2 girls, man. What the hell?
This is called you no longer a bachelor party, man.
Yeah.
You did that the day before you married, man.
Congratulations. Please start your marriage off right and don't let me be the blame of anything.
Absolutely, right?
I don't want my face showing over here. That's funny.
He's funny. Yo, but I was showing her the Daz Effects video, right? And it was like she was just like, "What the?" And it looked like it just came out now because of COVID.
Yeah, bro, that's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
If you watch it,
thinking about it. Yeah. That's
so. Hey. The playing field is all level right now, so just pick a position and start playing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got X amount of people on every team, and we could build a whole league. You know what I mean? Or we could just stay with one team. But I think a league sounds better because then you get more cheesy sponsorships, and you might get a NASCAR sponsorship too.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know who knows? But listen, I love all of y'all. I appreciate you guys coming through for the special edition and keeping. Filling in for me. But I knew I was like, she knew too. She's like, Jack, I know you're trying to go on. Just don't, talk music, have fun, enjoy your night. And I did that.
Don't
and I
be
got
showing
to
wedding
see
pictures.
PS. No, I know. I already put before I came on, that's what I was doing. Putting the wedding pictures up.
Yeah, man. I got you.
Everybody.
Man.
She put the profile update, so now it's like I'm married. Like I accepted that. I was like, yeah, you want
man. It's all good. It's all good on the first day.
It was all good just a week ago.
I start getting death threats. They're like,
man.
So I'm like, yo, I've been with her.
Yeah. She's like, can you turn the other way? I can hear you breathing. Wait, am I speaking from experience? Wait.
As long as she ain't telling me to sleep on the couch, we're good.
Bro, that's TV, bro. Ain't no, that's TV. Ain't no sleeping on the couch. We gonna sleep in the bed, mad at each other.
Absolutely.
And guess what?
Until I karate chop you in the throat.
Exactly. Halfway through the night, y'all have been and got over
it. You gotta watch Relationship Goals by Michael Todd.
See, I like what you just said. I like that. Yeah, I watch all that stuff. I love personal development. It's a great tool to have in life when you can learn from other people's experiences and balance your scales on what you think you know because you don't know nothing. Right? It's like you realize it. You're like, what? I don't know nothing.
That's exactly right.
That kind of definitely taught me a lot of things that I didn't realize. You know what I mean? Because growing up, like nobody taught us how to have like a successful relationship. I mean, I came from a broken home. My pops
they definitely like,
I'm walking from Puerto Rico.
What's up, bro? How many days has it been, my dude? Yo, you need to figure it out. Like, what? You gave her drinks too.
There's no
bro?
playbook, man. There ain't no playbook.
It's challenging. I could say from experience. I think we talked about this a little bit last week.
That's it though. Experience.
I've been married now 12 years. I got an anniversary coming up next week.
Hold on, how many years?
28?
12.
Oh, they said
12. Yeah,
I'm 10 in myself, man. Yo, you got me.
I got married and I was 21 years old, man. So I was literally a leap of faith. I had no idea what I was doing, but I think one of the biggest things is to just I study my wife like consistently every day, because you change. You won't be the same person 10 years from now. And so it's just like all those trends we was talking about in society, like your spouse is the same way. Body changes, especially kids, everything, job change, school, stress. There's so many different variables. And so I constantly study her like to this day, to try to figure out what it is that she likes, she doesn't like. And, we talk about everything, what we like, what we don't like, put it all out there on the table. There's no sleeping on the couch. Period.
No, absolutely.
We just gonna be in the bed with an attitude, looking at the ceiling, but end up never fail, because love is so conquering that by the morning come, we straight.
Yeah,
that's
literally like you don't want to be mad at each other, right? So you just trying to really, you got that moment where you got to feel like you got to stand your ground, but at the end of the day, you realize that your life is more peaceful when y'all talking. And because your life is so intermingled and interdependent, that it's harder when y'all not getting along.
That's right.
And so, like, when I used to be able, if I can call you and say, hey, what we doing today? What's for dinner? What's planned? Do I need to stop at the store on my way home? All that communication, if it goes away, like, it's chaotic.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah. You're not there. You're not really there. You're missing in action.
Yeah, it's not even worth it. You realize it's a waste of energy. So you figure it out. You work through it, and then you move on.
That's right.
Yep.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing that I know about relationships with any person you're with is that person rubs off on you, right? And you become somewhat of that person. They become you and you become them. Now, when it's your spouse, your kids, that's like a direct 50% basically, right? So happiness, laughter, making a joke out of something that could be serious. Right? But it's not. Trust, if you don't have trust, that's out, then it's a whole nother thing. But as long as you got that, everything else is golden. So, man, just don't rush into things, people. Don't rush into things. And study.
Season of singleness.
He said it right. Yahweh said it. Study your woman. And you pick her. Don't let her pick you.
Or your man, Kath. P.S.
I'm telling you right now.
P.S. was crossing you off the market, Jay.
I know, right?
She was like, Jay's another one gone.
But Fly spoke some real truth. I work in interpersonal relationships every day, and you use the term study, and I use basically the phrase making room for another person's reality. And if you can't do that, you're failing. If you can't engage in empathetic listening, and not sympathy, but empathy, because you feeling it, I'm feeling it, and that never wanting to go to sleep hating or being upset with that person. You don't want to do it, but it's gonna happen. But in the morning, you still at night, you reaching over to that other side of the bed, making sure that they're still there.
Still there.
It might be a karate chop.
It might be.
At least it's a karate chop.
But they're still there. But I think Kath will probably agree with me on this. Trust trust and respect, I think, are two of the most important things, because women will love. Women, we are love. We live in a world of love, right, Kath? But trust and respect is something that is very difficult when you lose that, and a man or a woman will spend a lifetime trying to get that back. But it can come back. It can come back. It can, if you are true to yourself and self-examining and do what you need to do. Grow up.
Grow up. That's it. Grow up. Be devoted. Be all in. Be committed. Go and do it. If you're gonna do it, do it. Stop playing. And put your all into it. That's how you get to yield the best result.
Look, I don't know how to
too, right? Because I think for a lot of us men, man, like the traumas that we talked about earlier within the music industry, right, is real. And I think a lot of us men have been traumatized not only from the experiences of growing up. Like I grew up in Dorchester and Roxbury in the crack epidemic. You know, there's still nights where I kind of like I can't go to sleep. You know what I mean? Like I'm up, like, guarding the house. You know what I mean? Like it's just I'm in Hebrew now. You know what I mean?
That's the third eye though. That's the third eye.
Yeah, it's just it stays with you. You know what I mean? There were times like my wife, like when we first started moving, like she couldn't wake up and be next to the bed just hanging out because I would just immediately wake up and like almost swing at her because it's just like this traumatizing like who's around me, like who's around my, like I could just feel it, I just jump right into that moment.
PSD, that's that bright like
I didn't recognize it. I didn't know that, you know what I mean? Because as men we're always told just march forward, right? Like march forward. So I had to do a lot of self-healing, to be able to be my better self. Because in relationships, you got to understand, like, she can't be responsible for my happiness. I can't be responsible for her happiness. She got to be happy on her own, and I got to be happy on my own. And then we come together and share a happy moment. I can make her happy for a second. I can make her happy for 10 minutes. I can do something that will bring her joy. But to have true happiness and peace within yourself, that's internal work that you have to do.
Yo, you know how Mortal Kombat they had the fatality and you needed to know all the combinations,
all the buttons.
Yeah, like the cheat code, right? So I got blessed with a cheat code because literally, and Kath can attest to this, I was raised by like 10 women. You know what I'm saying? Like tightly. But I had a very stern, my pops was like, he hit me with a belt. You think it's a regular belt, bro? Nah, Everlast weight belt. My dad was a bodybuilder. He was like, yo, get over here, like Mortal Kombat. Hit me with
get
the
over
you
here.
know what I mean? Hey. But I learned my lesson. But the point is that those women in my life, they taught me that emotional, that love, like that deeper compassion thing that I just that's why I tell I'll be like kissing my dad on the lips now. You know what I mean? Before when I was 16, I'd be like, what the you trying to what? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, Dad, because I got my daughter, I want to kiss her on the lips because I love her that much. I'm like, damn, I get it, Dad.
Yeah,
Kiss me on the lips.
It's important. It's important kids see that affection from men too. You know what I mean? Kids
it's different. Kids
got to see that coming from a man. Like I pay attention to that with my son. He's 7. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm the same way with my kid. I'm like kissy, huggy all over him. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes to bed at night, I sleep on his floor with him. He'll go, Daddy, can you come in my bed with me? So I'll just come up and I hug him, and it's like that's not stuff I had when I was a kid. My dad, it was my dad was like, my dad loved me, but it was like, you know what I'm saying, which is lucky, because not everybody has that, but it's like. It wasn't, it was more like what Jay was describing. It was like, you just touch his belt, and I'd be like, whoa, you know what I mean? And that's just the era we were in too, I think, and just how, and again, having my dad was like 21 when he had me. You know what I'm saying? Like Fly saying, what do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like fresh out of military. You know what I mean? Like what do you? Or fresh in military in his case. You know what I'm saying? So
how do we provide that consistently though? Because there's the nurture versus nature. Kind of effect that goes on, and I've as I matured, I didn't realize when I was younger, I always thought what you were taught will automatically overwhelm the environment that you're in, and sometimes environmental influences are so powerful. Because to your point, like I grew up without my dad for the majority of my childhood. And so there's like, of course, there's statistics and a lot of stuff that's going on now. But I thought that my cousins who had their mom and their dad, right, they both had good jobs, but they stayed in the same hood we stayed in, right? And so I turned to the streets because it was an outlet for me. They didn't have to do that, but guess what? They did the same thing. And so it showed me how influential environments are. Yes. So you do have to show your kids something else. You do have to show them a different environment. You do have to move them out of the hood in order to give them a better chance, because you can raise them properly. And if they're constantly dealing with peer pressure in environments where they're being pulled on in a negative direction, it will and can have an effect on them.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a guarantee.
That's I left Boston, and that's why I raised my daughters over here in Haybro, which has its own issues. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
But not compared to like what I was dealing with in Boston. You know, it's just a whole different. And I have family in Boston.
It's on a smaller scale, yeah.
Yeah, when you have family though that are in the streets too, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of, and I love my family, you know what I mean? But
it's all around.
You know,
yo, the best move to make is to like get when you can cross into New Hampshire and start hitting the sticks and learn to like kind of fall in love with that freedom and peace and quiet and serenity. Mm-hmm. Man, it's life changing, bro.
That's going too far for me, man.
I know. I mean, it took. Trust me, I didn't do this on my own volition.
I ain't doing NH, man. I'm living free.
This was forced on me, but throughout my life, it was forced on me at such a young age where it was like it kind of became. I accepted it, and I fell in love with it. And now you will never catch me. I ain't buying no spot in this city ever. I'll visit it, get a hotel, bounce in and out. If I'm gonna be in the city, it's gonna be in Florida. You know what I mean? Not in Boston, in New York, and all that. This is gonna be next to a palm tree, bro. In a
Jay's had enough. He's checking out
65-year-olds and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yo, hook me up.
But I want
gotta go to bed, man.
I want to go back to what Miguel was saying a minute ago. You know, it's all about self-love and healing, self-healing.
Yes, indeed.
Nobody can heal you, and hurt people. Damaged people. That's just a fact. And because of emotional contagion, because of environment, like Fly was talking about. So when Miguel was saying, hey, I knew I had to heal. And in my healing, other people can heal. And all those around me. And that's really the key. That's why it says, at least in one book, physician, heal thyself. Heal your mind, and the rest will follow. I think there was another singer that said that too. That's why we sing. That's why we rap. That's why we do what we do. It's healing.
It's healing.
Absolutely.
I mean, P.S. I have to chime in one last. So check this out. You ever heard of black rice?
Black rice?
Yeah.
I'm not sure of what context.
Me either.
So check this out. So you take rice, right, fresh out the bag. You put it in like a glass jar, and you have two of them. And one of them you put in one room. Second one you put in another room. Now in the first room, you're like, rice, I love you, rice.
Yeah.
You're so good, rice.
Yeah.
That's all they're getting in that room. With sunlight, everything beautiful.
Right.
This other one, they're getting dark. They're getting, we don't like you, rice. What you want, rice?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that rice turns black.
That's right.
From the energy of a person's anatomy coming at them. Not minus all the extra stuff that's in the car from the cars and all the, environmental problems that we have. We're just talking about your voice and your energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
what created the earth, right? So,
That's
just remember, anytime you feel like you're getting some black rice up in your soul, figure out what's giving you the black rice.
What's giving you the energy.
Get it out. Go move away.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, that's what made
on
me
the
think
other
of that.
side of it too. Obviously, I don't sing, I don't rap, I don't have any of that. But I'm the one listening, so that those things are healing for me. So when you guys have those feelings and you project them, maybe I'm feeling that way, and it's healing me because someone else is feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So I think as a listener, that's what I've been doing this whole time is listening. It's awesome what everybody has been saying, but it's you can relate or you don't relate, but you're still like learning different things. And at the end of the day, we're all healing or we're all learning from something. So I think on the side of just listening and not being able to produce those things, it goes both ways. Which is it's all full circle.
That's right.
That's why you play a Pac record and you want to see men vulnerable, play some Pac.
Yes, sir.
The 80s and 90s people were vulnerable. I was like, what? Like, you don't know the 80s.
We kind of did that with Grandma's story.
Everybody's like,
yeah.
Word for word.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, but yo, Jay gotta go for real though. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming here. Appreciate it. It's like 45,000 minutes past my bedtime.
I was thinking of watching Coming to America. I was like, should I be making that move?
I was gonna, I wanted to watch that too.
Yeah, we're losing valuable time, right?
Save yourself some time.
We gotta get the review, Kat.
Oh no, Flo,
wow. Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Oh.
I heard the same from about half the people who've seen it. And the other half are like, "Nah, you're crazy. It's still funny. Yeah, you got to see it." And there's a lot of disappointed people.
You don't make sequels. You don't make sequels to classics. That's all I got to say.
But, I'm okay with it. I'm spoiled. I watch sequels. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with
you know, we're making a trilogy. You know what I mean?
Hey, but look, before I sign out and we end the live all together, Miguel, again, great. I can't wait to really chop it up with you and your homie Preacher. Right? You and Preacher, man.
Where do folks find your show, Miguel? How do we find the show?
Yeah, so it'll be on Facebook Live on the Pose Inc. Facebook.
What was that again? The Pose Inc.
Pose Inc. POSEINC.
All right, cool.
It should pop right out.
Okay, cool.
You can find Preacher Rhymes, or you can find myself, Miguel Andres Quinones, and we will be posting it live once the show starts.
I'm gonna put that right here in the little chat.
And Fly, man, my brother. Look at man. I said, you know who we can depend on, right? Fly.
Yep.
Man,
First dude I hit up. That's it, man.
I was uber late. coming out the JOBs, man. I got so busy last night. It was jumping, and I was rushing trying to get out of here to get back to the crib, man.
Yeah, you should.
Actually, I'm. It's still an honor, man. Every time, man. I feel like
Likewise.
Yep.
Same. And of course, my cousin. I love you, baby girl.
Thank you. I mean, to meet all of you guys, it's great. Thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, hey, you already know you part of this program. She got a whole bunch of stuff happening, people on IG. She's got some shows coming up where she's going to be doing, segments with a couple of her friends that are going to be really cool. And I feel like this is Netflix worthy material eventually. So people start paying attention. At Cat Moral on IG.
Yeah.
And lastly, my queen, number 2 queen. P.S. Perkins.
You clarify that.
P.S.
I was like,
you're sleeping on the couch.
She is right there. She's like, yo, you sleeping on the stripes tonight, son. Yo, what?
It's been an honor.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much, P.S. That episode that we had in that whole that night is unforgettable. Like, powerful moment having you.
We got lots of moments to come, Miguel.
Definitely.
Fly, all of
everybody.
Yeah.
Stay blessed.
I appreciate y'all. This was great.
Absolutely, Miguel. Look forward to seeing you Sunday, man. What time we coming through?
So Sunday dinner is at 7:00. So yeah, I'll hit you up and get y'all on like around 6:50 or so. Just to do the sound checking thing.
We can forgive any tardiness by Quo because it's a big weekend. I'll be there on time and he can come through when he needs to.
I already told my girl. I said, I made this happen so that on Sunday.
You have some time.
Kids in the bedroom.
I was like, what? All right, y'all. All right, peace, y'all. Thanks everybody checking us out. All right, we'll see you next Friday.
Cuzzo, thank you again, Cuzzo. I appreciate you. I love you, girl.
Yeah, and see y'all next Friday when we got who we got. We got my man Mozzie. I thought it was actually gonna hit the screen, but it didn't do that. Maybe it's because we had too many people on there. I was like, hey, we got bang. Let me try it again. We got my man Mozzie Mutafsa. He's out here in DC. Check us out. Can't wait for him to come through. And by the way, if you missed this earlier, and P.S. Perkins, you might have seen this too. We got Cherry Ward.
Oh, all right. I heard about it.
She's coming through on the 26th. And my man Lino from Floor Lords, he is the co-founder of Floor Lords, legendary b-boy crew. He'll be out here on the 19th. So yeah, check us out. ProQuo Show. We out of here. Peace to Quo.
Peace.
Enjoy the wedding weekend spectacular. Kath, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again. It was so much fun. So much fun. I was nervous about it. I talked to you about this, but you know what? I had so much fun. I met so many people and. P.S. That was beautiful. I want to have it so I can just read it over and over.
Cool.
It was beautiful.
We have to do that. We have to do this again.
Yeah,
P.S. Thanks for coming through. P.S. You stayed longer than I thought we'd be able to pull you for.
I stayed longer than I thought my body would too. Hey, it's all good.
You need that. What is it? The milk in the kitchen or whatever you always say.
waiting for.
Good night.
All right.
Good night. Yes.
And Kath, if you ain't doing when's the next? Do we have a scheduled wine and dine time coming up, or
we don't? I don't. Not yet. To be.
I was thinking, what was that? To be announced. Yeah. I was like TBD.
I was like, what is it again? Yeah. So probably soon.
Cool.
I know you guys are lined up with a bunch of stuff, so we'll jump in.
Yeah, we all the I mean, we pretty much have now got this sort of I mean, tonight obviously an exception, but we it's pretty much for the most part in that 9 to 9:30 time is when Jay and I just kind of talking, reviewing the week.
Yeah, which is perfect time.
Yeah, somewhere in that time,
like
like 9:15 or something like that.
Yeah,
and then
15 minutes or not even.
Yeah, something in that range.
Just a little hello. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and then around 9:30 we trying to bring in like 9:25, maybe even I would say this. Probably, I keep saying this wrong. If you guys probably jumping in sometime between like 9:10, 9:20 in there.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to get in the 5 minutes guess when we have those around 9:25, and then have them out by like 9:35, and then do and then bring in the guest who's coming in and have them out by 10ish. So that's kind of it. And then you guys can always pop back up, on into to repopulate kind of like we did at the end. So it's always great to have more conversation. And we didn't have to go wild on the wedding relationship.
We didn't. We'd have to get sad because we were worried. Remember, we were worried we can get sad, but we didn't have to. This is a lot. This is great.
Absolutely. So it made it.
But that's the best thing about those conversations, because you can think, okay, we're going to try and do this, but then it goes a different way, but it still works.
That's what we always say here, like Jay and I say behind the scenes. It's like we also want to be true to who's in here, who's speaking, what their thing is about. And I really like vibing with, whatever the conversation is, because like you were saying, you get to listen and learn. And I can do a lot of talking, but at the same time, I like to get to hear what people are saying too. Early on, I'm always talking because I'm trying to get things set. And I'm sometimes, trying to get the balance and the flow down at the beginning. Which
works really well.
So it's cool. So I appreciate you coming through at the beginning, because I would have been talking to myself, and and that's never cool. So we shall maybe catch you next week. And
definitely.
All right, cool.
All right, well, have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks so much.
Have fun at that Sunday dinner.
Peace. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Check it out. Yeah, it's POSE Inc. Their stuff is dope. Look it up. And
I'm definitely going to. Everything they're into is so interesting.
Yeah, they're dope.
Things I didn't even know, which is so cool. This is why this stuff is awesome. You don't know about it.
Absolutely.
In your own city. So
I know, right?
Pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Take care. Thanks.
Good night.
Peace.